California, what's going on? This is hour one of Jon and Jim, back underway on a Wednesday. Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs, will join us. I think he's going to join us from Wrigley for Game 3. He's going to be there. He's going to talk to us about the Padres and, of course, about this offseason coming up for San Diego. So Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs, longtime friend of the show, will join us at 2:30. If you missed our conversation with Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network, you'll hear that coming up as well. Before we get to what Kevin Acee reported this week in the UT about the Padres lacking killer instinct, surprise, they're at home, right? The update on the ants real quick, because I feel like this is probably a bigger deal than whatever the Padres do next year.
At this point in time, yes.
Because the Padres lack a killer instinct, which is something I lacked when I saw these ants.
So we were texting last night, and about
there's a big curveball.
10:45, in the middle of our conversation, it just went to, oh my God, more ants.
They were back. So if you missed it yesterday in the afternoon, Kristen texted me during the show, hey, there's ants everywhere. And she sent me a picture and it was disgusting and it side railed the show. Well, then last night, I never expected it. I thought Antgate was over. Like you said, she was sleeping. I was talking to you about something else. And I get up to go to the kitchen. Should I show the video for YouTube?
Yeah, sure.
It was disgusting.
Just ants everywhere. Dude.
Ants everywhere.
Well, it doesn't help when you have a fork and knife with food on it.
It was a little bit of
counter.
peanut butter or something. It wasn't like I had a puppy.
It's all
your house, dude.
That's all it takes, man. It's just a little bit of peanut butter on a fork and a knife.
I was up I couldn't sleep because I was up like an hour dealing with this, and then I thought they were all over me. I thought about showering. I didn't sleep. I mean, I seriously, these
when you
ants,
have an ant problem, don't have food left out. It's pretty simple.
Well, I got a DM from someone that was listening to us yesterday. He's like, I live near you. We also are dealing with ants. I'm like, what are we supposed to do? Like, move?
Burn the house down.
All right, let's get to the Padres. Anyway, I was about to curse. It was a disaster.
Sounds like
Kevin Acee wrote in the UT, and he wrote this, I think, on Monday. But he wrote in the UT, this is a direct quote in the article. Some players and others in the organization believe the Padres lack a sort of killer instinct and will to dominate that also fosters consistency. So they lack the killer instinct and will to dominate that also helps with consistency, something that they've obviously lacked here. When you read that and when you hear that, where does your mind immediately go? When you read that and when you hear that, this lack of a killer instinct, this will to dominate, this lack of consistency, where does your mind go?
I present to you Exhibit A, Brent, if you would please.
This is Exhibit A.
Yes, it is.
Urgency. You see, this is why I do not like reporters. This is why. The words that you guys use, urgency, the team getting hot at the right moment. I mean, these are words that you guys make for bigger stories than what it is. You got to go out there and play baseball. You got to go out there and make 27 outs. It doesn't matter about urgency. There's no urgency. You put urgency, you're gonna be in a hole. So it's a matter of playing our game. Let's keep it simple. We got to catch the ball, hit the ball, and play the best baseball that we could possibly have, and leave it up to you guys to write stories about it.
That's the killer instinct they're looking for.
I rest my case.
Get 27 outs. There's no urgency.
No urgency.
I hate reporters because you use that word.
It's baseball.
Yeah, that's your words.
It's just the most obvious thing in the entire world.
It doesn't even need to be reported.
It doesn't need to be reported at all. When Kevin writes that, where does everybody's mind go? Even if you're the biggest Manny defender on the planet, your mind goes straight to Manny Machado.
100%.
And when you hear stuff like that out of Manny's mouth, and that's not the first time Manny's said things like that, it just makes it so much more frustrating knowing that, Manny's a really good player. Without him, they don't get to the postseason. But when you get to the postseason, good luck, because the guy's just, hey, if that's the mindset that he's rolling in there with, good luck.
Well, by the way, and I'll follow that up by saying, by the way, Toddy, you're not off the hook.
No.
Because I'm watching Fernando Tatis Jr. all summer, and we may have spent every day on it for 3 months. The consensus of Padres fans that watched this season, like we watched, was, what is wrong with Fernando Tatis Jr.? There were all these theories. Was it the hit by pitch in Pittsburgh? Is something going on off the field? Is he not healthy? Is he dealing with something? So You talk about lacking a killer instinct. Look at Fernando Tatis Jr. Watch him. Look at him. Does he look like someone that's about to take the bull by the horns when you watch him out there? See someone's like, man, seriously, just watch his like mannerisms. Mm-hmm. Like just look at Fernando Tatis Jr. Look at a guy that over 3 months hit how many home runs? 4?
5?
So I'm just saying, like when your leaders, the combined salaries of Machado and Tatis are $700 million, right? The combined deals,
a lot of money.
Like that.
A lot of money.
They gotta lead the way, but Manny doesn't like the U word, urgency. And Toddy just had a season where can't explain it. He was 26 years of age and had a down year. I mean, that's concerning. And those are your two leaders, and that's just concerning.
Jackson Merrill's a guy that I feel, could fill that role.
Yes.
Of killer instinct,
completely
urgency, plays with 100% and the passion that he plays with every single day.
Mm-hmm.
When I watch Jackson Merrill play, I think about those things that he embodies every single game, whether it be a random game in June on a Tuesday against the Colorado Rockies, or if it's game 3 of an elimination game, game 3 against the Cubs at Wrigley Field. He plays with the type of urgency, the killer instinct that you would wish you saw from Manny and Tatis, the two guys that are ahead in the pecking order as far as, when you go leader's role. Like, I would love if Jackson Merrill would take over that role. He's not. Maybe when Manny leaves, but Manny's not leaving for a long time.
Right.
Toddy's not leaving for a long time. And that's the frustrating part is like, you do have guys on this team that possess that. When I watched Ramon Liriano play this past year for the Padres, I felt that from Ramon Liriano.
Agreed.
Jackson Merrill, Nick Pivetta, when Michael King is healthy on the mound, Mason Miller, like Adrian Morejon, Jeremiah Estrada. Like I feel that from those guys. I don't feel that from Manny. Now, times I do because he's just that good of a player because his talent just takes over and he's a Hall of Fame player. He's going to be in the Hall of Fame one day. But like what he's done in the postseason, and then you couple that with his post games, hey, good luck, right? Good luck, guys.
I mean, I will say this. Is it easy to write that after the disappointment again? Like, it's almost like once you lose, well, of course, like you can open up the Pandora's box. Like in the midst of the season, and we're not having Kevin on today, and I'd be happy to talk to Kevin about this. Here's my point. In the midst of the season, were those that were covering the beat of the Padres saying this, that they're destined to fail because of a lack of killer instinct. As in, isn't it self-fulfilling? Once the season's over, it's easy to say something like that. I go back to 2023. They didn't play well, right? There was the expose on Manny Machado. Well, they played like crap in 2023. Like, would we be saying the same thing if they just won game 3 against the Chicago Cubs? Like, you understand what I'm saying, right? Like,
yeah, I get it.
Once the season ends, we can say everyone's disappointed. You can kind of say whatever, I guess, at this point. I mean, I agree with the point.
And it's a narrative that gets created because they don't win.
Yep.
Right. And it for better or for worse, if you like it or you don't,
right.
Like when you don't win and you fail the way that this team has failed, this is a narrative that's going to be created.
Fair. Completely agree.
And it won't go away until they win a World Series. It's pretty simple. I believe that.
Maybe make one, but I agree.
I believe that you got to win a World Series or get to one, play great baseball leading up to it. Again, if Manny had a great postseason run and then they get to the World Series and he reverts into this version of Manny Machado that we've seen in the postseason of recent memory, then you know what the narrative would be then. Can't
come through in the clutch.
Can't win the big one.
Yeah.
So whether you like it or not, sorry, this is the narrative that's been created here because the expectations, another word Manny Machado hates, is at an all-time high, as it should be, which I'm glad it is. I don't want to go into a baseball season covering a team with the expectations of the Pittsburgh Pirates
or the Rockies.
Hey,
we
might
go to win 80 games.
Like, hey, we'll see what happens this year. Some nice players to watch. Paul Skeens, but this team sucks. Like, no, I want the expectation of like the real season starts in October. And that's when we will see what this team is made of.
The funny thing is, I don't think it matches. Like, I believe, and we'll see what the Padres end up doing with AJ Preller. I mean, it's radio silent for a week. Their season ended 7 days ago. Or
Which I'm starting to get the itch of like, what's going on here, guys?
Right. So it's been radio silent. But like, here's the one thing I wouldn't say about AJ Preller. You can be critical of AJ Preller. You know what I wouldn't say? He lacks killer instinct.
Preller, exactly.
You know what I wouldn't say about AJ Preller? He's scared to make the move that will be seen as a mistake.
Never.
You know what I wouldn't say about AJ Preller? He puts his head down at the end of the night. It's like, I'm scared about what I'm going to do tomorrow. Like, this guy is willing to make any move at any cost to, in his determination, improve his team. That doesn't always work that way. I believe he's trying to make it work that way. But I can't be critical of it. Like, I feel like AJ has made the moves to put the organization in a position where they can win at the highest level on field, and then the team has not been able to execute on his vision.
Mm-hmm.
So, again, when I go back to the John Seidler conversation, we can have that here today as well. Is this about AJ Preller, or is this about a lack of a killer instinct from your team and things like Manny Machado said there about urgency, or the way Fernando Tatis Jr. played at parts this year? Like, this to me is way more of a player conversation than it is a front office conversation.
I'm with you. I wasn't even thinking of the front office. Like, I was thinking about specifically the players. And if you wanted to weave in Mike Schilt a little bit in here, you can. I'm not going to argue it. I'll probably side with you.
Right.
But for the most part, everything lands on the players. It lands on your top guys. And I just found that to be a very interesting paragraph in Acee's article that kind of, I sit there and when I read it, I'm nodding my head like, yep. Mm-hmm. And I go right to Manny. I go right to Tatis. Specifically this year for Tatis, more so than ever, because of the mood swings that we had to talk about with him, the ups and downs, the poor play offensively. Like, that's something that you have to question and wonder about. And look, whether you like it or not, sorry, that's the narrative of this team, because you got some high-priced players. Some of them are going to be in the Hall of Fame one day.
Yeah, man.
And once the postseason comes around, it's just like, well, he went 1 for 11 in the series. He went 2 for 14.
Right.
Oh, he's saying things like urgency. What? That's a stupid word. Why do I have to be urgent? Right. Like, what are we doing here? It's baseball. Like, no. What are you talking about here, dude? You know, the fact that now we have a pretty sizable chunk of evidence that teams that win game 1 in the wild card round of the new format are 15-1 overall. That's a pretty big chunk.
Huge.
Now, it did get the streak got broken this year by the Yankees, but still, they also had home field advantage, you know?
Right.
So it's even more so on the road when you bring up the word urgency. If you are a wild card team and you're the 5 or the 6 seed, winning game 1 on the road is literally everything.
Everything.
Unless you're the Red Sox and you're screwed.
Well, I guess I would ask this to our listeners. You can call us 877-767-4760. Is it fair to say that the Padres lack some sort of killer instinct? And I think the proof is in their performance in postseason. But what do you think? 877-767-4760 or 70470. Start it with the word team. And what to make of the silence from the Padres organization. Plus, Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs will join us from Wrigley Field in Chicago. We'll talk about the Padres' needs in the offseason here that is now underway in San Diego. Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, listen, for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. This year, new horrors awaken, 5 haunted houses, 8 terrifying scare zones, hidden speakeasies, and the shrills of coasters after dark every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now through November 2nd. Halloween fun for the whole family. For a limited time, kids go free. I should bring Jones. With a paid adult ticket, visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com for more information. He would lose his mind.
Yeah.
At some scare zone. We were freaking out about the ants.
Oh my god!
Imagine us at
Has he ever
World.
been to a haunted house scare thing?
Dude,
no, that's a no.
Come on, man. Get scared watching like SpongeBob.
You get scared watching SpongeBob.
Correct. Some of them, yes, from like Krusty Krab. Some of those are scary.
Like father, like son.
Correct. We're going to get to the phones if you want to weigh in. 877-767-4760. By the way, is this not the life of a Padres fan? So the Cubs play the best defense in baseball history for 3 days. Like they win the series on defense. Mike Schultz says as much.
Yeah, Dansby Swanson was the vacuum at short. Nico Horner at second, making like Superman plays.
Today at Wrigley, in the top of the first inning, the Brewers lead 1-0 because the Cubs didn't see a pop-up in the infield. All 3 were safe as a result. Later in the inning, a run would score on a sac fly.
Like what's
so
happening?
Like a free run because of the Cubs' lack of defense. It was because of the sun. But it's like everything went perfectly defensively for the Cubs against the Padres, and they just dropped a pop-up in the infield that you or I would have caught today.
A score update in the Tigers-Mariners game. Mariners had a 3-1 lead. Tigers have scored 7 straight.
Wow.
Sorry, 6 straight. They're up 7-3 right now in the bottom of the 6th inning. So they need to win that game to get back to Seattle to force a game 5.
Give me game 5s. I'm a game 5 guy.
Give me all the game 5s.
Give me a game 5. And now Cubs need 2 wins. Good luck. Phillies need 2 wins. Good luck. Yankees are going to be favored to win game 4.
They will, because Blue Jays are going bullpen game. Yankees have their star. I can't even say his last name because I probably will. It turned into a curse word.
Is it?
It's like his
Cam?
last. Yes.
Is it?
I'll spell his last name.
Spell it. Is it? Can I say it though?
I'll spell his last name.
Okay.
And tell me in your mind if you're out there like, oh, okay, what is
Cam? SCH.
SCHLITTLER.
Cam Schlittler.
Dude.
Say that 3 times on the radio.
Schlittler.
I don't want you saying it.
I don't
Cam Schlittler.
But
who, by the way, is like everyone wants his cards. Because this guy
struck out 12 in his
that's the thing. And he's a Yankee
debut.
And he's been terrible against the Blue Jays this year. But again, I think the Yankees have momentum off last night. I never even
heard of the guy. And he's striking out 12 in the wild card round in game 3 against the Red Sox.
To move him on.
What?
All right, 877-767-4760. Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs will join us in about 8 minutes. Let's go to Todd on line 1. Todd, you're on with Jon and Jim.
Hey guys, how you doing this afternoon?
Good.
Hey, I agree a little bit with Manny in the sense that it is just baseball. And the whole the Killer Instinct team. Manny and Taddy were on this team when they were a Clevenger destruction of the team away from the World Series. They had the Killer Instinct then. It's not like they just lost it, and it is baseball. I mean, right now, the top of the lineup for the Phillies, I think, are 1 for 5,000 against the Dodgers. You can't say that Trey Turner and Harper have lost their Killer Instinct. Sometimes it just sucks. Sometimes it's baseball. I've been around this team for a long time. I was in high school in '84 when they beat those pesky Cubbies. So I've seen my share of ups and downs, and it is. It's just baseball. But Manny has got to get to a point where he thinks he can just turn it on where it counts, because sometimes that just does not happen. And as a go-forward basis, I think it starts with Darvish. If Darvish retires, get some odd million back, I think Preller can fill the gaps with that money. If Darvish stays, I think we're looking potentially at him doing that ballsy thing and trading Tatis to get as many things that we can get to keep this thing going, because there's a lot of holes to fill on this team, and $46 million can fill a lot of those holes.
Todd, appreciate it. I appreciate it. You can't trade Fernando Tatis Jr. No. Like, it's not me saying it. It's not my opinion. You cannot trade Fernando Tatis Jr. His contract stipulates he cannot be traded. So it's not me saying it, right? He can't be traded. By the way, the Killer Instinct that the Machado and Tatis had in the 2022 postseason, Tatis didn't play in.
Right.
And you know what the 2022 team had? Also was Juan Soto, for example, a completely different team. It's hard to go back to 2022 and draw a correlation to 2025.
Yeah. The thing is, like, Manny's just never going to be that rah guy. It was kind of weird how last year he was, because that game 2 huddle in the dugout, they end up winning. And I was like, wow, okay.
Then what happened?
Exactly. But at the same time, Manny needs that like extra fire from another player. And that other player in 2022 and in 2024, Jerkson Profar, he led the way with like that energy, because Manny's never going to give that. He's just a nonchalant player. Not to say that's a bad thing. That's just how he plays. And that's how he's always played. So to have that spark and that energy, it's never going to come from Manny.
No, and I like your point from earlier that I think Jackson Merrill is a spark plug type player, takes nothing from anyone.
I just love
apply
his
pressure
all the time.
Yeah, I like Jackson Merrill, but I'm with you. Like, would I like to see more of Merrill from Tatis and Machado in terms of like their aura? Yeah, I would. But it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it's just when I watch Jackson Merrill, rarely does he give up any at bats. Like rare
bunt.
But I meant like rarely does he go up there and he just has a piss poor at bat where you're like, what the hell's going on, dude?
Mm-hmm.
There have been way too many times I've seen that from Manny, and especially Fernando Tatis Jr. That entire game 3 was just some of the worst at bats you will see in your life from Fernando. And that's
said it.
And that's what I'm talking about. I get it. It is baseball. You're absolutely right, Todd. Like, you have to go out there. You have to play fundamentally sound. It's not a big rah sport like football where you can go tackle somebody, or in basketball where one guy can just take over the game. Like, you need to play fundamentally sound, but the thing is, I see these at bats sometimes and I'm like, what the hell is that?
Well, yeah. To your point, game 3 from Tatis, those first couple of at bats,
and even from Manny at times, you're just like, slider away, he's going to swing. Breaking ball down, going to swing.
I mean, he had too much stress where he was awful this year.
Like, can we put together better at bats? And that's kind of where the urgency and the killer instinct comes from. Like, going to the plate and being like, I am getting a hit here. I am not going to get an out. Like, I'm going to do everything I possibly can to get a hit. I'm going to be so locked in on this at bat. Not to say Manny doesn't have at bats where he's not. I mean, doesn't say that Manny always has at bats where he's not locked in, because he does have at bats where he's absolutely locked in. But I can also tell you there's some at bats, clear as day, where he's not as locked in as you'd want to see him.
What do they need to do this offseason? We'll look back on the postseason as well. Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs. He's at Wrigley Field right now for Cubs and Brewers game 3. Dan Zimorski joins us live on the other side. It's Jon and Jim.
All right, this update is brought to you by Lowe's. Postseason baseball, 4 games today in the division round. ALDS, Tigers and Mariners, game 4 there. Mariners lead that series 2-1, but the Tigers have an 8-3 lead in the bottom of the 7th inning, looking to force a game 5 back in Seattle. Cubs Brewers right now, bottom of the first inning. We are tied up at 1 apiece. Cubs are threatening. Cubs trail the series 2-0. Later this afternoon, 4:08 first pitch in the Bronx, Yankees Blue Jays. Yankees trying to force a game 5. And later tonight, Dodgers Phillies. Dodgers looking to close out the Phillies and move on to the NLCS. Lowe's knows Sundays hit different when you earn them. So we're helping you with deals on top brands like Scott's Pit Boss, Cobalt, and Trex decking. So get to Lowe's, get it done, and earn your Sunday. Lowe's official partner of the NFL.
All right, Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs with us on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Dan, let's start here. Dan, are you inside Wrigley Field right now for Cubs and Brewers?
I'm not. I just got out of jury duty yesterday, and so I'm still figuring out where I'm going to go now.
Okay.
At least got out of it.
Exactly. All right. Well, you can watch all the action.
I did not get out of it. I was the 4-person. They put me on the jury.
Oh no!
You were on the jury during the baseball postseason?
Yeah, I tried to defer, but they wouldn't let me.
Oh, what?
Come on, man. It's
you just gotta say conflict of interest. I'm gonna vote the guy guilty. Like get me off of this.
There's a lot to react to, Dan. I just want what's your 30,000 foot view of the Padres 2025 season?
Obviously, it didn't end in the way anybody wanted. I think it was generally successful. You look at kind of the uncertainty coming into the season because there were some real concerns about some of the power positions, DH, corner, outfield, outside of Fernando Tatis, of course. There were concerns about what happens with the pitching, about the depth, and they got through the season pretty well. They did, make the Dodgers uncomfortable, which is always a nice thing if you're not, a Dodgers fan. So it was definitely a successful season because, when it started, there were so many concerns about the payroll in the future. But now, of course, it's also unsatisfying in a way to go out so quickly. And you look forward and you say, oh, we have to find a lot of starting pitching this offseason. So I guess 2025 is mixed feelings. I guess it should be.
So a lot of the conversations here in San Diego throughout the year was the lack of power with this team. Going into the postseason, they had the least amount of home runs of any postseason team this year. And we know that home runs in the postseason is, what gets you far. And that's kind of where the game has turned to. And they turned into a small ball, a lot of bunting, a lot of sack bunting this year. When you look at this team this past season and the bunting and the lack of power, how do they improve on that next year? Because do you agree, the bunting was not going to get them very far?
Yeah, people always like bunting, and it's a game I grew up on. I was born in 1978, so I saw a lot of 80s and early 90s baseball before the home run really just burst forward again. You do have to hit home runs to win the postseason because on a fundamental level, if you look at teams that win the postseason, one of the very few things that are more important than actual season record is teams that have a disproportionate number of their runs from home runs actually slightly overperform in the postseason. One of the hypotheses behind that is that if you look at some great pitchers, the way you can get to a great pitcher is frequently home runs. Clayton Kershaw, when he struggled, Justin Verlander, when he's had struggles at times in the postseason, guys like that, when they struggle in the postseason, it's not that they're not striking out guys and it's not that they're walking a ton of guys. It's that they're allowing a lot of home runs usually. So it is hard to do a small ball team that can, dependably win runs because you do need to have runs. Now, fixing it is a trickier problem because there's a real question is how much can they invest in the team? Now, they do have a lot of the bones of a good offensive team. You still have Tatis. You still have Machado. Jackson Merrill should have a better season. I think, someone like Ryan O'Hearn is someone who could be brought back, I think, at not a crazy cost. But I don't know if they can really transform quickly into a top offense that, of course, you would like to see.
Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs with us right now on Jon and Jim. I'm curious to get your thoughts on Is Fernando Tatis Jr. now the player we've seen the last 3 years? Like I just pulled it up at Baseball Reference. He was a 965 OPS player his first 3 years in the major leagues. He missed all of 2022 for a variety of reasons, suspension and injury. Since then, the last 3 years, his combined OPS is 803. Do you envision more of what we've seen here recently, even though he's entering his age 27 season, or can he get back to the player he was as a 20-year-old?
I think there was significant more upside on that level remaining coming into the season. But this year, I mean, he was essentially healthy all year. And, the most recent year is the most predictive of the future. Obviously, there's still that upside remaining. But I think that if he's a 130 OPS plus guys, someone who has a good on-base percentage, can hit 25, 30 home runs, play really good defense in a corner outfield position. Because, I mean, you look at him and he's regularly been kind of a Gold Glove candidate out there. So that has value. But I don't know if he's going to get to those dizzying heights that we saw, in his early 20s. There's kind of a misconception. Players don't necessarily peak at 27. A lot of stars do peak fairly early. Sometimes it's not that players who break out early are going to just continue to improve when they hit 27. Sometimes you're just seeing them at their peak. And we might have already seen peak Tatis. But the good news is that less off-peak Tatis was still a really, really good player. And if Tatis is even one of your top 20 problems, you're probably doing pretty well.
So you mentioned, and we all know that the pitching next year, there's gonna be a lot of changes in the rotation. We've talked a lot about offense this year, but it sounds like you're saying that the biggest need for them this offseason would be the pitching staff.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, if you're not going to be able to turn the offense into a juggernaut in an offseason, and I don't think they can, you're going to have to figure out how to fill that pitching staff because there's only so much you can cover up, but just with what you have on hand. I do think that they're probably going to go after low-key free agents, but I don't know if they really can rebuild a pitching staff. It's going to need some creativity, maybe some trades, but I think we'll know a little better once we get kind of closer to the offseason, like what teams are thinking of.
If they had the ability to re-sign one of these pitchers, who would you feel the safest with a long-term investment? Michael King or Dylan Cease?
I think King. I think fundamentally Cease would actually cost more than King, although you said money wasn't necessarily part of it. But King, I mean, he did show in 2024 at least that he could get through a full season healthy. I mean, obviously not this time around, but it feels like he has less mileage on his arm. Maybe that's just me. I still kind of think that he's still, not a complete starting pitcher yet, and there might be a little more upside there to squeeze out. Maybe I'm wrong. I've always liked Cease. I think, though, you have to go into 2026 with one of them, though, or something really has to go right otherwise.
Well, let me ask you this, because Mason Miller's coming off this ridiculous season, right? He didn't have the full value in the postseason because, you have to have a lead for him to have that full value, and they lose to the Cubs. Is there an argument to be made analytically or otherwise that Mason Miller should be converted to a starter, or is that too wishful?
It's funny that sounds good to me because I'm a stat guy.
Yeah.
But I don't always. It's easy for me to say it because if he gets injured, he does have a past injury history. It doesn't really hurt me too much if he gets injured. It hurts the team that does that. I would explore it carefully. I certainly wouldn't go into with any expectation about him, throwing 180 innings or anything. He might be more of a 5-inning special guy. But I think when you need to fill holes, all solutions should be on the table, no matter how crazy they sound.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have all those discussions. Looking at the postseason right now with the remaining teams here, Dan, 4 games today, all very important, obviously. But when you look at the rest of this postseason right now, with everything that we've seen so far, has anything changed your mind on maybe who you had before the start of the postseason, or do you still feel the same way right now where everything stands?
Well, I thought the Phillies were going to come out of the NL. That's not looking so good right now.
Yeah.
Because the Phillies are a dangerous team if they can get their pitching on the field. They haven't really. I don't know how I feel about Aaron Nola start since we've seen he's had a pretty up and down season, mostly down. So I think the Dodgers are in a strong position because you look at their starting rotation. They do have a lot of guys on the IL, but the guys they really like are mostly healthy right now. And that's kind of unusual for the Dodgers. So it annoys me a little because, they're the juggernaut team that spends the most money, but they're probably a better team now than they were at a random spot during the regular season. So I think they're probably the team to beat. But again, it annoys me.
Well, it annoys you. Imagine living in San Diego and covering the Padres for a living.
It.
I mean, think about it. If the Dodgers were to do it, and again, they have to do it. We'll see. They're favored again heading into next year. I mean, probably win or lose this year. Yeah. They're the favorite to win a World Series. I mean, at some point, it's like, when is this thing gonna?
It also feels like they're a team that is built for a postseason run like this with Blake Snell and
top of the rotation,
Yamamoto,
the
Glass
offense.
Now it's like, it feels like they're just built for this regular season wise. Feel like they're kind of walking through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm from Baltimore, so I have my own frustrations with the 2025 season.
No doubt about it. You do.
Yeah,
You do. Dan, appreciate you taking time for us. Hope all is well. We'll catch up again with you later in the offseason.
Always fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, great stuff. We'll react to that on the other side. Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network. If you missed it, you'll hear our conversation with Cynthia coming up at 3:30. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We've got some giveaways for you today. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network at 3:30. Going to hear from John Rothstein on Mount West basketball, which is back 1 month from, well, less than a month from now. So Dan Zimorski, right? We just had on. I'm trying to think, like, the takeaway nationally, and I've heard Dan say this before, was just kind of like they were supposed to win like 80 something games, and they kind of, to some extent, lived up to the expectations. Every team wants to win once they're in the postseason. Mm-hmm. But like part of it is like, well, they made the postseason. It was a good enough year. They're supposed to win 80 something games. They won 90. They bowed out in the first round. Nobody wants to do that. But like, I've heard him say that. Like, yes, here locally, it's a severe disappointment. You draw 3.5 million fans. You don't have a home playoff game or whatever. But is that fair considering what their expectations were, I guess, if you take the step back or the 30,000 foot view?
If you told me before the start of the season and I didn't know any of the variables and I didn't know what happened to the Dodgers, my assumption would be the Dodgers won like 115 games and you win 90. Like,
me too.
Okay.
Like a 20 game variance.
Like, hey, all right. What are you going to do there? Right.
Yeah.
But that's not what
how
happened.
It played out. Yeah. I agree with that.
So I have to account for all the variables and everything that I saw during the regular season to make my final assumption or my final take away from what happened this year.
Right.
So I get where he's coming from the standpoint of like, well, they were projected,
88
X
win team
before the season and they got to Y at the end of the season. So yeah, it's success. But I kind of view it differently.
And also his Toddy take. And I've heard this a lot, which is like, hey, this is a very good player because of what his on base is high. His defense is invaluable. But, listen, the best indicator of what you're going to do next year is your last year. Right. So Toddy's coming off a 25 home run season with a low 800 OPS. Like, is he going to bounce back? Like we've said, you and I were like, he needs to hit 39 home runs and he needs to get back to a 930 OPS player. But is that going to happen with Tatis, or is it going to be more of what we've seen?
And the other thing that stood out for me from Dan Zimorski was like the question about how this team becomes a better power hitting team and a better offense with not a lot of solutions or answers on how to do that. Like, hey, the guys that are there just have to be better. Like hope isn't a solution.
Right.
And so if you are hoping that Fernando
hits 39 home runs.
Right. And you're hoping Machado has a career in home runs. And you're hoping Jackson Merrill hits 25 to 30 bombs. And you're hoping you get 15 to 20 bombs from Xander Bogaerts. And then you're hoping the others give you between 15 and 20 each. Like that's a lot of hoping. That's a lot of hoping.
And I also think, like he mentioned, like, hey, maybe because of like the cost of Rhino Hearn, they could bring him back. Like maybe he'll be cost effective. That's what I was looking for.
He hit 16 home runs.
It's not like Ryan O'Hearn is the guy that's going to make you a top 10 home run hitting team. He had a nice year.
Now, Ramon Laureano had a career year. Can he replicate that next season? That's a question, because everyone's going to be loving Ramon Laureano coming back, which I'll raise my hand. I'm one of those people. But is he going to have a damn near close to 900 OPS again? Is he going to have 20 plus bombs? Is he going to hit close to 300? Like
it's very lofty,
So it's just, hey, I hope the guys that are on the team find their power stroke next year. Because if they don't, you'll probably be seeing a team that is not a power hitting team and closer to the middle or bottom half of baseball as far as home runs go. And that will be another cause for concern next year as well.
And then he went down the path, and I understand it. This is what the organization does. Like, well, if you're not going to out-hit him, out-pitch him.
But that didn't work.
And it didn't work this year. And that's why I went down the path of, do you think they will entertain? Starting pitching is costly. Like typically starting pitching is very costly. Even Nick Pivetta, they'll pay a lot in 2026. Would they consider, because of how long they have Mason Miller under control, would they consider making him a guy that can give them 100 innings and throw 4 or 5 innings 25 times and be like this quasi, I don't even know, like a short version of Blake Snell? Like Blake Snell was never an inning eater. Can you turn him into someone that could eat 120 innings for you, or how risky is that?
Well, if you aren't going to re-sign King or Cease, you might have to resort to doing things a little bit unconventionally because you got to figure out the innings problem with this team. Mason Miller, I would not turn him into a starter. It kind of takes away from his specialness, if that's even a word.
Right. His uniqueness.
His uniqueness, right? The guy is a unicorn when it comes to closers in baseball. I think I would keep that weapon intact instead of trying to mold it to something different where it wouldn't be as special, right? But they're going to have to figure out the innings thing. And that's a big question mark going into next season, along with the offense. I mean, they have a majority of the core guys returning. Don't get this twisted here. This team has a good amount of questions heading into the next season, like to the point where every part of their team you're dealing with question marks.
Do you agree that it's one reliable starter heading into next year? That would be Nick Pivetta. Joe Musgrove's coming off Tommy John.
Oh, would you throw Randy Vasquez in there after his year?
I don't know. That's why I asked it. I think. I don't know. Would you?
I mean,
is he trustworthy? Is he going to give you 160 innings? I don't know.
Yeah, you probably
maybe.
Right. I probably would just put.
Is he a number 2 in the major leagues?
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. He had a great year.
He did
for his standards.
He
He helped them immensely to get to the postseason. He was a big part of the regular season to get there.
We all love Musgrove.
Yeah, but off Tommy John, can you expect 170 innings from Joe next year?
No, because even before the Tommy John, right? He wasn't throwing 170 innings, right? He had been dealing with injuries the prior 2 years.
No, he did have 1 year where he balled out. That was 2022. So
I know, but in baseball terms, 2022 is a long way from 2026.
You're right.
Coming off Tommy John.
Tommy John in there.
So 180 innings in 2022. Since then, 97 innings, 99 innings, and a lost year because of Tommy John.
Yeah, not great.
So you're right, though, to the innings question. Forget about the effectiveness. To the innings question, you're not getting all those innings back with Musgrove. You're never going to count as Vasquez as an inning eater, even if he's effective. Your one true bulldog inning eater is Nick Pivetta, as we sit here now. Yeah. And that can change. But that's it.
Yeah.
And I don't think Pavetta's going to make 160 starts next year. It'll all get figured out in the offseason. But to your point, there's a lot of questions.
And it's like, what's the bigger problem? The lack of offense with this team?
Lack of starting pitching?
Lack of starting pitching. I feel like the lack of starting pitching is the biggest concern because what they're probably going to do is they're going to sign some guys offensively, fill some holes, and they're going to run with the hope strategy on offense.
Mm-hmm.
We hope these guys are better, but pitching, you're going to need some legit guys in there because you can't just hope with that.
Remember how bad the starting pitching was the final 6 weeks? They trailed 2-0, 3-0
all the time.
I mean, August and September, they fell behind early. They allowed a lot of early home runs.
Yeah.
And we'll see if they can get that resolved in 2026. All right. On the other side, against Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network at 3:30, we have giveaways for you and I on Major League Baseball's postseason, including a game going on right now between the Cubs and the Brewers. We're here until 6 p.m. Don't go anywhere. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app.
This update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Postseason action underway right now. Tigers Mariners. We're in the top of the 9th inning. Tigers lead the Mariners 9-3, looking to force a decisive Game 5 back in Seattle. Cubs Brewers. We're in the bottom of the 2nd inning. Cubs have a 4-1 lead. They're facing elimination today as the Brewers have a 2-0 series lead there. Yankees Blue Jays, Game 4 of that series. 4:08 first pitch in the Bronx. Yankees looking to force a Game 5 back in Toronto. And Dodgers Phillies tonight, 6:08 first pitch in LA. Dodgers looking to finish off the Phils and head on to the NLCS. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the latest fall looks, all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at macysbackstage.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 2 of Jon and Jim. We are here until 6. If you missed our conversation with Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network, you'll hear it coming up at 3:30. If you missed Dan Zimorski, you'll hear that coming up as well later in the show. From Fangraphs, we have tickets to give away to Howl O Scream. We have tickets to give away to see Yellow Card as well. And we're here until 6 p.m. So there's a report, Jim.
Oh, there's a report.
You know where I'm going with this?
I do.
North Carolina has held preliminary conversations about Bill Belichick's exit strategy per Andrew Jones, no relation to my son Jones, of Tar Heel 24/7. So 5 weeks in to the season, right? They're 2-3. Their Power 4 games have all been miserable failures. They've averaged losing by 30 points in those 3 games. And according to Tar Heel 24/7, North Carolina has held preliminary conversations about a Bill Belichick exit strategy.
Ollie Connolly, who is a reporter, formerly reported in the NFL, former college football scout. He's a recruiting analyst. He reported this. It's a thread.
Okay. A thread.
It's a little lengthy, but
Let's hear.
It's pretty crazy. All right. Per sources, Bill Belichick has discussed buyout options with North Carolina. Belichick has signaled a willingness to trigger his own $1 million buyout if he can find a soft landing with another team or in media.
Okay.
He then goes on to say this. Members of Belichick's coaching staff have already spoken to other schools that are expected to be in the college football playoff about taking on roles during the postseason. From one coach, quote, "The rats are leaving the ship. Some staffers believe a change will come within 2 weeks. Reports of serious recruiting violations remain under investigation at North Carolina. Recruiting and practice violations have already been proven by the school, according to multiple sources. Using recruit violations to knock down a coach's buyout has become a standard practice.
That's interesting.
If Belichick cannot find a landing spot to trigger his own buyout, he's expected to accept a greatly reduced compromise rate. Belichick's communication with his staff in the past 2 weeks has been described as, quote, weird and, quote, distant by multiple members of North Carolina's coaching staff. Multiple coaches were unable to get a hold of him during UNC's bye week. From one UNC defensive assistant, quote, "What we've done to these kids is effed up."
Well, if you couldn't get a hold of him, you could just like DM his girlfriend.
I'm sure she's on social media.
She's on social. By the way, your report right there from X, the thread, and then what 24/7 wrote, Tar Heel 24/7, the reporter who broke this story said it's not a lock. Belichick coaches October 18th when they play Cal on a Friday night. So like it could be resolved between now and October 18th in the next 10 days. You talk about a bad situation all around, like to the point of in your thread where like what it means for the student athletes and what it means for other coaches on that staff. And like, it goes back to this initial point. What were they thinking originally? It was a bad idea originally. And a lot of people felt that way, that here's a guy that has made his career in the NFL, had been out of coaching. The world has changed so drastically in college. Was he really just going to be able to flip that switch and everything was going to work perfectly? That was very far-fetched. It's played out like that. And now this thing is a sinking ship 5 weeks into his first year.
I mean, I will say, I think on first glance, some people did think this was going to work. you look at the hype around Bill for his first game, right? You basically had ESPN doing a 4-hour North Carolina pregame show on television. They didn't even mention TCU was in the game.
Yeah, TCU didn't like that.
And they went out and they whooped their ass. And it turned into just a literal bloodbath on live television of North Carolina getting destroyed, other than the first drive of the game where you're like, whoa, all right. Bill's got the boys playing some good football.
I get your point, but like I just Googled it to find it out for like revisionist history. Like their win total this year was 7, which is like, okay, it's fine. But it was never, the expectation was never like, is he going to do at North Carolina what he did in New England?
What would it have been if Bill wasn't the head coach?
7.
Okay.
Right. Don't you think? Like, was there some?
My guess is Bill, because of Bill, that's one or two more wins.
Yeah. Oh, I agree with that. But I'm saying like there wasn't, the one thing Bill Belichick didn't have that Dion had when he went to Colorado is he didn't have Shedeur Sanders. He didn't have this generational type. We didn't know if Shedeur Sanders was generational, but you get my point. There was the intrigue around one of his players. He had Travis Hunter and Shedeur Sanders, 2 uber talented college players. Who's Bill Belichick's uber talented college player?
I don't even know.
Tell me about the quarterback.
I have no idea.
Tell me about the running back.
I can't name one.
Marion Hampton's not walking through that door.
Drake May's not walking through that door.
Yeah, exactly.
And by the way, he's basically made it so their social team can't tweet about Drake May.
Oh, is that right?
Like go to their social platforms and usually when a former player does really good in the NFL, that college team will like pump that player up. Like, hey, look, this player went to our college.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, like Saquon Barkley with Penn State.
Right.
Yeah. Or
Jalen Hurts
Micah
with
Parsons,
Alabama.
Or Jalen Hurts with Oklahoma or Alabama.
Yeah. Baker Mayfield, you could say.
Absolutely. Like when Rashad Penny was taking the first round, guess what? San Diego State was tweeting about it.
Right. What was I going to say? Oh, how many games have they played?
5. They're 2 and 3.
Okay. 5 games into the Bill Belichick era, I think it's a definitive, this was a failure.
Yeah, I think so too.
Like there's no coming back from this.
No.
With all the smoke that's around this program, with all the smoke that's around Bill, this is a failure. Like end of discussion, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you got to move on.
That's the thing. When it's like when you tell yourself like, this relationship, it ain't it. It's hard to recover from that.
You don't want to stay in the relationship to try to fix it when you know
it's going to end.
When you know, you know. It's
does Bill Belichick want to be there long term? This is a both way conversation. He doesn't want to be there, and they don't want him.
You are right. There was discussion before the start of the season that people had with Bill, like,
is he
thinking
leave?
Thinking, does he even make it to week 1?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Because they had a special buyout in his contract.
If he went to the NFL.
Right.
He could have left for nothing.
Here's a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Probably should have been in the wrap though.
Ask. Who cares? We can ask again.
If Bill wants to continue coaching in the NFL, does this, what he did at North Carolina and how south this has gone, does that hurt his potential chances at coaching in the NFL again? If he wants to.
Head coach?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Do you agree?
Yeah. I think
this has been bad.
I think Bill is at a like very stubborn point of his life, which is totally fine. I get it. Like you've done it a certain way your entire career, and it's worked, and you've won 7 Super Bowls. So like you're almost 80. Like why are you changing?
Mm-hmm.
Right? Why are you changing? But going forward, Bill would have to change. Bill would need to change, and I just don't see that from Bill.
Last 4 years in the NFL, and this is not his fault. I mean, Tom Brady left in there, but 7-9, 10-7, 8-9, 4-13, 2-3 this year after a year plus off. I just don't see the organization that's like reaching at this point. His accomplishments stand for themselves. Like the legacy is secure. The NFL legacy obviously is secure. There's no question about that. It's just next season he's 74. Mm-hmm. He hasn't taken an NFL team to the postseason since 2019. Next year's 2026. I mean, you've gotten to a point where
it's over.
It's over. I mean, and his run is virtually unmatched because nobody's got the 7 rings.
Like Tom Coughlin, right? He won 2 Super Bowls. Bill Parcells, Super Bowl winner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? No one's going to go out and hire those guys. Unfortunately, the game has evolved past them.
Right.
what they did won't work in today's game. Just like I think what Bill did, and it worked for a very long time.
Yes.
A lot of it had to do with Tom Brady, right? But defensively and keeping his team, focused on the goal at hand, right? It's passed him by. And I think the best course of action here is to dip, just go hang out on your yacht with your girlfriend and maybe take a media job if you want, because you can have a media job if you want, right?
Right. Oh, absolutely.
And if you do, then maybe you can repair some of your image a little bit here. But yeah, it's the coaching days. It's done.
You tell me, what's the story when the Dolphins hire Bill Belichick for 2026? The story is the sideshow.
Yeah,
if that still exists.
Yeah, it is. Unfortunately, it's unfortunate, but that's what the story would be.
I mean, are you like? That's just. I'm just looking at these teams that aren't good. That's the other thing. Yeah. The not good teams would have to give their coach a couple of years. It's hard to go from 2-15
because you'd have to ask
a Super Bowl contender.
Because you'd have to ask yourself, if you gave Bill a head coaching job in the NFL, you'd have to ask yourself, if you're that team, are we hiring Bill or are we hiring his girlfriend and Bill's the puppet?
Yeah, I mean, it's not only that though, because like a good team is not going to hire him. A good team probably is secure with their head coach. They're not going to move on from their coach.
No.
So let's just use an example of a team that would be like rebuilding. I don't even know. Name the team for me, Jim. Like I said, Miami. But there's other examples. I mean, you tell me. Like, let's say the Cardinals go 7-10.
Yeah, Cardinals get on. If they don't, if they have a bad season.
So, I mean, I guess you have to ask yourself.
The Giants.
The Giants. But that's the thing, is any of these teams, are they in the next year going to compete for a Super Bowl? And if it takes multiple years, is he going to be the guy to see it through?
No. And if my favorite team hired Bill Belichick, I'd be like, I don't know about that.
Dude, no way. I mean, San Francisco, no way. It doesn't. San Francisco, with all their success, they haven't won Super Bowls, but with all their recent success, that wouldn't make any sense.
In the offseason, though, Kyle did reach out to Bill
about coordinating, right?
About being the defensive coordinator.
Right.
Hey, this defense last year was atrocious. I need you to just take over the defense.
You think he still would make that call a year later?
My guess is no. Because now I think they got who they wanted to get. Robert Saleh, he'll probably be gone in a couple years because I think he'll get another shot at being a head coach.
Right, but it works for the years he's in San Francisco.
But for the next couple years, hopefully, for the Niners' sake and my sake as a fan, hopefully he's there for at least 3 seasons. Probably wishful thinking. But I think they're happier with it playing out like that instead of Bill being there. Because you're right. Bill would become the story over everything else. Even if he's a coordinator, like, you can't hire a coordinator that's bigger than your head coach. That would be a distraction. And what has Bill always preached, which is kind of crazy because of what's happened in North Carolina, never be a distraction.
It's like you don't want your backup quarterback getting more of the storylines than your starting quarterback. This is always a question with Shador, Kaepernick, post-controversy, right? It's like, 100%. You don't want to be the sideshow, and for whatever reason, that's what Bill Belichick has become in college. All right, on the other side, I want to hear from John Rothstein on the state of Mountain West basketball, the final year of San Diego State in the Mountain West, and the expectations for the league. Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network at 3:30. Great giveaways today, including tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego and tickets to see Yellow Card at Gallagher Square at Petco Park. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Jon and Jim again for the all-new Jamul Casino Resort, the Players Place. And we've been telling you about their hotel and spa now open at Jamul Casino Resort. It's the next level of luxury. You can treat yourself to a stunning new stay, rooftop relaxation, indulgent spa treatments, and all the thrills of Jamul Casino Resort, now all in one unforgettable destination.
Yeah, and savor San Diego's ultimate endless dining experience at Jamul 23. From their world-famous lobster brunch served every morning to the luxurious VIP endless dining experience each evening. Indulge in chef-curated specialties, fresh seafood, prime cuts, and decadent desserts, all with stunning panoramic views.
You're going to love the spa. Again, you can unwind in style, experience pure relaxation with indulgent treatments, serene spaces, and a retreat designed to refresh your body and mind. Only at Jamul Casino Resort, the Players' Place. I don't know if you heard that promo from Dan Patrick. You can hear him right here on San Diego Sports 760, weekdays from 6 to 9 a.m. But he kind of said something that we said earlier, which is like, don't tell me that Preller doesn't have the killer instinct. Like, they went all in. And then Toddy comes up empty in game 3 and Manny in game 3. But like, they went all in. Again, they've gone all in a lot. It's not like they only did it in 2025. But they were all in. I buy that.
Oh, 100%. You don't make the moves at the deadline like they did to be like,
yeah, we're dipping our toe in.
Not all in.
Hey, we got a 15-year, we have a future all-star, 5-time all-star in Leo DeVries. We'll just trade him away at the deadline. Like, you do that with motivation. Yeah. Like, you do that under the premise that you're going to compete to win a World Series.
Now, again, no one was thinking about Leo DeVries when Mason Miller's out there throwing 105 miles per hour on the black. But
no, and I'm still cool with it. He's under control for a number of years. Miller.
Right. And we don't even know if Leo DeVries will be good. My guess is he probably will.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's going to hurt. But it hurts less. And you don't even really think about it if you win a World Series.
Right.
Because that's why you made that move. That's why you traded away the number 1 prospect in baseball. Is you made it to go out and win a World Series. You didn't even come close.
Yeah, even making a run for me, it feels different. Like, you get to a National League Championship Series. I get it. We get it. You have to win a World Series at some point. It's San Diego. There's no World Series. But like, if you told me the Padres had a postseason that included a road series win in Chicago and a 5-game series win over Milwaukee, and they came up short to Philadelphia or LA, again, is it going to hurt? Yeah. We've seen seasons end like that, but it's a lot better than what we just saw if they win 2 series. Like, at least, again, it feels like you said this recently, from NLCS to NLDS to wildcard exits. it seems like you're going now in reverse.
It's the opposite of what they're supposed to be doing.
Yeah, like you'd like to see them get back to an NLCS or get to a World Series.
Yeah. But it's also, Phillies are kind of dealing with the same thing right now.
Yeah, disappointments in the postseason.
They made the World Series in 22. They got bounced last year by who did they lose to? I forget. But
Mets.
Mets. Division round. They got swept. Did they not?
They may have.
They may have.
What'd they do in 2023 after making the World Series in 2022?
They lost to the Diamondbacks in the
NLDS.
NLDS or NLCS. What was the NLCS that year? I thought the NLCS that year was Phillies.
Oh wow.
D-backs, and D-backs won. Could be wrong.
They lost in 7 games. So they went.
Right.
Listen to this. You're right. They went World Series, CS, DS, and now DS again. So they've gone backwards. To your point.
Yeah. So it's the same things happening in Philadelphia that's happening here. It's just louder in Philly than it is in San Diego.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
The same talking points from this show are the same talking points that are happening in Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
Stars not showing up, shrinking under the bright lights,
Spending money,
spending a bunch of money. Can they get it done? Are these the right guys?
Agent core.
Yeah.
Which is true.
Yeah. So same thing, I think you could put lack killer instinct with the Phillies, but making a World Series and what we've seen from, Phillies players in the regular season, I don't know. I feel like the lack of killer instinct is.
It's hard to say about Bryce Harper because I've seen him with the killer instinct. Yes, he doesn't have a ring. It is true. But he's come through in the clutch in the postseason. Look no further than against the Padres.
Right. I just see at bats that are being taken and have been taken by, the top guys in the Padres that we've talked about here today. And I'm like, they don't consistently enough go to the plate with the mindset. At least it doesn't. I don't see it. Maybe they do, and they just aren't having bad at bats or whatever. But I don't see I'm not going to get out. Like, I'm going to have a 12 pitch at bat here. I'm getting on base any means necessary.
But again, and I'm with you on that, but a lot of that is like an easier said than done conversation.
I get it. It is.
It doesn't take into account
guys throwing
the pitcher.
Yeah, the pitcher is the one that's going to dictate this thing. If he's throwing nasty stuff like Mason Miller, you're not having 12 pitch at bats.
That's the thing. And I don't think it's an effort thing. Like, there were a lot of times in September, for example, Jake Cronenworth had a lot of long at bats. He made pitchers work. And then you get to 3 games in Chicago, he looked awful. Is that because he went up there without a will to get on base, or because he said, I will not be denied? I don't know is the point. It's like, we'll never truly get to the matter of it. It's like what Kevin wrote in the UT this week when he said, and let me read it exactly again, and he might be spot on. He says, some players and others in the organization believe the Padres lack a sort of killer instinct and will to dominate that also fosters consistency. Again, when you lose in the manner in which they lost, it makes sense, but I don't know the true reason they lost in 3 games to the Cubs. Like, is it because they lack the killer instinct? I don't know the actual reason. They're just done in by a better team.
But look, when you lose the way this team has lost the last couple years, with the amount of money they spent and the trades that they've made and how they have gone out in the postseason, as quietly as you could possibly see a baseball team go out, these narratives, unfortunately, are the narratives that are going to be created and follow this team until
I agree.
They get over that hump. And there's nobody that can end these narratives other than the players.
And don't you agree? Like, we've said this now the last couple of years. Don't you agree that the regular season is almost inconsequential?
It will become that. And I feel like we're there. I feel like next season, the regular season to me will feel like, all right, when's the postseason start?
But will you buy anything they do in the regular season and tie it to the postseason? If they're 5th in homers in baseball next year, a resounding check, it's not happening. But if they go from 28th to 9th in homers hit and they win 95 games, I mean, that's as good of a year as they've had in 30 years. Are you going to say, I've seen enough? No, you're not.
No.
You're going to say, I need to see it now.
But it'll give me more hope.
I guess.
You know what I mean?
But will you have more confidence?
I think I would.
I won't. I mean, we will, but you're going to sit there in game 1 and be like, I was down 2-0 in the first inning.
I know. Yeah, Manny Machado 1 for 12 again.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like
that's my concern.
He had that home run in game 1, but did nothing in game 2 and 3.
Right.
So
but I mean, would I prefer to see the offense come to life in the regular season next year? Yeah.
Yeah, I would too. And it's just hard because you think to yourself, is there going to be another opportunity where they were as close to winning the division as they were this year, next year? The answer to that probably is no. The percent chance of it happening again, not very high, in my opinion.
Lower.
Right. Like the percent chance of being as close as you were to the Dodgers to overtake them, to win the division, get the 3 seed, play at home against the Cincinnati freaking Reds.
Yeah, that was a joke.
I mean, it was there for the taking. And you said, no, we're good.
Or to your point, go back to 2024. Is their postseason chance in 2026 better than their postseason chance was in 2024 with a 2-1 lead in the NLDS and a home game in game 4? As in, you need a lot to happen to be better positioned than that. So it's a bit wishful is what it is. Yeah. All right, Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network on the other side, reacting to week 5 in the NFL and looking ahead as well. So Cynthia Freeland on the other side. If you missed Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs, you'll hear our conversation at 4:30. We have tickets to Howl O'Scream at SeaWorld San Diego to give away. We have yellow card tickets to give away. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, live on the iHeartRadio app.
All right, this update is brought to you by Macy's Backstage. Tigers Mariners game 4. It's a final. Tigers beat the Mariners 9-3. We're going to head to a decisive game 5 in Seattle. Cubs Brewers, top of the 4th inning. Cubs have a 4-1 lead over Milwaukee. Milwaukee has a 2-0 series lead in that one. Blue Jays, Yankees, first pitch 4:08 there. Yankees trying to force a game 5 back in Toronto. And Dodgers and Phillies tonight, 6:08, first pitch at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers looking to finish off the Phillies, complete the sweep, and head back to the NLCS. Macy's Backstage is a whole department inside your Macy's store where you can find the latest fall looks, all for under $30 with new arrivals every day. You never know what amazing deals you'll find. Don't wait. Find a location at macysbackstage.com.
All right, Jon and Jim, in the 4 o'clock hour, we will give away Howl O Scream tickets.
Boo.
Exactly. But it's even more intense than that.
Did I scare you?
And no.
Boo.
Ants scared me earlier.
Just show a picture.
By the way,
ants.
I got raid.
Okay.
Or whatever. You told me to get traps, but I thought about getting traps last night at midnight. We were texting back and forth. But then they weren't going to come until Thursday, and today's Wednesday. I'm like, no. I'll go to like CVS. But then in the morning, Kristen's like, we have raid. I'm like, well, what's raid?
Oh, no.
And then I'm all worried. Can you use that in your household? Like, will it like end up killing you and your children?
No, you can use it, but you don't.
I used it gingerly.
You don't have any animals, so you're fine.
I used it gingerly.
You didn't know what raid was?
I know what it is, but I don't know its purpose. I don't know how to use it, where to use it.
How old are you?
45.
How did you make it?
I don't
You
know.
always give me crap.
No,
you grew up in a bug-free household, apparently.
The
Seriously.
thing is, I'm not good with my hands. I'm not like, am I going to survive in the woods?
Well, I'm not asking you to
12
survive in the
minutes?
woods.
No.
I'm asking you to survive in a household with some ants without the help of your wife.
I texted Kristen when the ants were running around last night. And I'm like, more ants, exclamation
Like,
point.
help.
But she was no reply.
So now you're on your own.
And
Now
then
you're
she's
screwed.
like, I saw it in the middle of the night. And she's,
No,
but
you
yeah, I
deal with
took care of it. I took care of it.
Oh, look at you.
Yeah, I took care of it.
took care of
I
it.
took care of it.
Yeah, I'm big dog. I took care of that. What's up?
All right.
I took care of the little ant problem in my house. I'm the man.
Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network. If you missed our conversation, it started with her concern level, if at all, with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Well, the good news is after this week, they get Rashee Rice back, which will be helpful because they need a little bit more horsepower on that offense. The hard part is they haven't even really gotten into the meat of their schedule. I mean, there's a trip to Buffalo. There's hosting the Lions in primetime this week without Rashee Rice. There's some challenging games in there. Now, I would never want to bet against Andy Reid or against Patrick Mahomes. However, I don't know. This feels like a tough one. Now, it will depend on can the Chargers pick it back up without their tackles, and there's some other things, but it's certainly not a Chiefs team that I'm thinking wins 14 games or anything crazy like that somehow.
What happened? Sorry, my mic's not on.
Well, hold on. Time out.
Hold on. I'm sorry.
Cynthia, this is what I deal with every day.
You know,
we do a radio show. Jim doesn't turn his mic on.
It's a problem at times. I've been doing this for a little bit now, but it's still a problem. I was going to say, Ravens, what the hell's the problem?
Well, I mean, when like 20 all pro seasons and $300 million sitting on the bench, because they're injured, it's really hard to come back from that many injuries. Like it could be like their list of like all pros, right. Like that's who was missing. So, I mean, especially once you start 1-4, I was talking to some players and they're like, what sounds terrible? 1-5. And that's what they'd be if they don't win, if they don't somehow manage to find a way to beat the Rams before their bye. It sounds so much different to be 2-4 versus 1-5. So I don't know if I think they can do it, especially if they can't find a way to get a little healthier. But, they do have an easier schedule after their bye. The problem is, will there be enough time to make up the difference?
That's what I was going to ask you. Cynthia Freeland, NFL Network, is with us. I mean, in the AFC North, which isn't exactly, a juggernaut here. I mean, is there a scenario with health where they can put it together in the back half and find a way to compete at the top of that division with someone like Pittsburgh?
It sounds crazy, but absolutely, especially no Joe Burrow. The Bengals defense is abysmal. I mean, the Browns are just now they're playing roulette, it's kind of fun, but whatever. And and then of course Pittsburgh hasn't been like this shining mark of consistency either. So it certainly is possible that the Ravens do end up winning the division. But we've seen teams like the NFC South last year felt like no one wanted to win, and
sure.
Somebody got in at 9-8 or whatever. So it's happened before. It could happen again, but it's always it won't be pretty if that's the case.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at my 49ers here, they're 4-1 with all backups. Mac Jones is out there balling out. How much credit, as far as the credit goes, do you give credit to Mac Jones or do you give more credit to like Kyle Shanahan and Robert Saleh for taking this group of essentially backups here for the last couple of weeks and, turning them into a 4-1 football team?
Can the answer be both? Because if Mac Jones weren't playing at the level that he's playing at, then there wouldn't be a chance for them to be in this situation. But if they weren't being coached in the way they're being coached, then, it obviously wouldn't work as well. I mean, the amount, it's every year I feel like we say this in the beginning of the year. It's like the level of injuries this year is bigger than ever. But, this year it feels pretty crazy. Like the entire Niners team, the entire Ravens team, it's just these big teams that you had these huge expectations for. But somehow the Niners are winning. Now, I will say Kyle Shanahan lives rent-free in Sean McVay's head. So there is something about the matchup between the two of them that oftentimes definitely results in fireworks. If not, you knew Kyle had some extra tricks, and he did expose some of the weaknesses in that secondary that we all were worried about ahead of the season.
Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network with us right now on Jon and Jim. How do you feel about the Chargers where they are? Speaking of injuries, they've dealt with them obviously as well. They started 3-0. They've lost the last couple of games, including a loss in New York to Jackson Dart and the Giants. How do you feel about where the Chargers are situated at this point in their season?
The problem with the Chargers is that the Broncos and the Chiefs are still in the division.
Sure.
And that, especially now that the Broncos, Sean Payton has this thing where he just it's like an October situation. If you look at the trend with Bo Nix, you look at the trend back in the Saints days, they just keep getting better. And that's a really scary defense. So I'm not saying the Chargers they're out of it. I'm not doing anything like that, but I'm a little bit more concerned because, that O-line, you were already asking a lot of a guy to move from the right to the left and Joe Alt. And now you have, Austin Deckles playing a lot of snaps. And I love the kid. He eats alligators. He's a fun kid, but not the same kind of protection afforded from him as those two starters.
How real are the Colts?
Well, listen, it's funny because the Colts and the Jags, just killing it with wins. So just like we all drew it up, right?
Right. Yeah.
And the Texans can't buy a win, but I guess against the Ravens, but they're having a hard time winning. But I mean, I think the thing I'm buying about them is if you look at what's going on with Jonathan Taylor, it feels like the ability to be in third and short and control the game on the ground with that run game and a defense that's better. It's an improved defense. It's better enough. I mean, that's not good English, but better enough that it really complements what the offense is able to do. But I love whatever team is in third and short most often is almost always. It is a very good, reliable metric for who is winning football games because it shows a lot of control. And that's just where they've lived this whole season. I know the loss to the Rams was kind of a weird one, but if you call back some penalties or if people hold on to the football when they're across the line, we would have a different record for them.
Cynthia Freeland with us right now on Jon and Jim. So the Eagles are 4-1, and their record over the last 20 games, regular season and postseason, is ridiculous. I mean, they just win, but they're coming off a loss. It seems like in the wins, they've kind of just maybe a little bit like the Chiefs over some of these seasons where they just find ways, but it's not the most inspiring football. I want to say maybe they've been outgained so far this year in general, even though their record is 4-1. How do you feel about Philadelphia coming off the Super Bowl 4-1 overall? I think they had 10 rush attempts or something like that against Denver this past weekend. How do you feel about the Eagles overall?
The fun part is that you have this situation where, everyone thinks Saquon is the Eagles and the push is the Eagles. And it's true that was a big part of their identity. But the thing I'm a bit more concerned about than their offense, which, by the way, their offense had some growing pain issues last year too, but the defense not getting pressures, that's where I'm a little bit more actually concerned because that was a strength of their team last year and kind of always. So the fact that you're seeing, Cortland Sutton made Quinyon Mitchell look pedestrian, which is hard to do because Quinyon's been having a good season, but it's I'm a little more concerned about the front of their defense maybe than the exact offense per se.
I know you're a Lions fan, so you're going to like this question.
Sure.
Lions best team in the NFL? I think you can make a case, right?
They're the most charming team in the NFL, and that I feel like is the case I can absolutely make. I mean, the whole David Montgomery story alone is like they gave us a Tom Rinaldi treatment. It's good. It's good stuff when you're having tears watching a game that's a blowout. So, look, I think they're the best team in football. I don't know. Their defense has some things to show me still, especially now that Terrion Arnold is going to miss some time, if not the rest of the season. The secondary, other than safeties, but the corners have been a question mark. DJ Reed is good, but you need more than one and to be a true contender. I think the offense, I'm not worried about Johnny Morton. That was ahead of the season. Like, can they handle it without Ben Johnson? I think that, the O-line has started to figure itself out, which is great. But I have some questions about the defense still.
All right, I'll ask you this. This is my final question. Which would surprise you more, Buffalo in the Super Bowl or Detroit?
Detroit.
Detroit. Okay, you grew up a Lions fan.
I know the Lions. Come on here.
I mean, last year it was kind of, it wasn't silver platter. It was kind of silver platter, right? You're hosting Washington with a chance to host the NFC title game. I know. That's what you dream for.
I mean, kill me. But I will say, look, there's a reason that Josh Allen won the MVP. I mean, some people can say, Lamar was better, but no, but like Josh Allen is MVP caliber, whether or not you thought whatever. And that always makes someone feel a little bit more, even against the Patriots, they had three weird turnovers, not like them. You still did not feel like it was over. You were like, wait, how much time? Did they even have 10 seconds? Okay. And that's just, that kind of feeling is different. And the Buffalo defense, they have something that they need to prove to me too. But again, I just feel like it's a different sort of animal when it comes to having Josh Allen back there. And I love Jared Goff. Let me be clear. He's officially now played more games as a Lion than he has as a Ram. So wow. I think he's a Lion now. So, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, I really like him. He's great. But Josh Allen and his versatility with his ability to rush and earn first downs just in crazy ways, it just feels a little bit more like something that you could bet on than, Lions would be like, all right, it's a team effort every time, which credit to them that they can do that. But sometimes you just need like the big dog behind the center to make it happen.
Well, maybe our minds are blown and we see both Buffalo and Detroit in a Super Bowl.
My head would explode, and I would actually have a hard time with that because obviously I want the Lions to win, but like, I like the Bills too. I'd want a David and Goliath situation, right?
Right.
Like I either want like the Bills to face the Eagles, or I want the Lions to face like the Chiefs. I don't want to, because then you could, the whole country would be galvanized towards the David in that case.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, the whole country would be like, we want both teams to win.
Right. Go tie.
Yeah. Look at Bills. Everyone would be like, guys, Bills, Lions, like there's no losers here. And
I
like,
know.
No, but there are.
Yeah,
I know. It's devastating.
Cynthia, always appreciate you taking time for us. Thank you for all your insight and perspective for San Diego. We appreciate you. Thank you. All right, great stuff there with our friend Cynthia Freeland from the NFL Network. Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs at 4:30. Great giveaways for you in the 4 and 5 o'clock hours. We're keeping our eye on the MLB postseason as well. This is Jon Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. The wrap coming up at 4 p.m. If you missed Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs, you'll hear our conversation at 4:30. All right, so Jon Rothstein. Nobody covers college basketball more than Jon Rothstein. I think that's fair to say. Like, he literally covers it 365 days a year, and he tweets about it like obsessively. I don't know. Do you follow him by chance?
I do. I know.
Right?
It's 24/7. You could have the biggest news story in the world drop, and he'll be tweeting about like Grand Canyon and New Mexico playing
like schedule home and home.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So he's got a podcast where he talks about college basketball.
Which is great, by the way.
Yeah, I mean, he is who he is. Okay. He doesn't stray from who he is. So he's got this podcast, and he was talking about the strength of Mountain West basketball heading into the upcoming season.
What baffles me is the Mountain West has been able to continually get not just 2 teams in the NCAA tournament, but over the last 4 NCAA tournaments, the Mountain West has had 18 teams in the field. In the last 2 tournaments, it's had 10 teams in the field. By comparison, the ACC has only had 9. Now, one of the reasons why this is so incredible to me is because I look at what happens now with the transfer portal. And I look at San Diego State. San Diego State, remember this, is a team that in 2024 went to the Sweet 16, lost to UConn and Boston. Who was the point guard on that team? Lamont Butler goes to Kentucky. Who was a forward on that team? Elijah Saunders goes to Virginia, is now at Maryland. Who was supposed to be the best guard on San Diego State last year? Reese Waters. San Diego State still made the NCAA tournament. Utah State changed coaches, went from Danny Sprinkle to Jared Calhoun. And with that said, Jared Calhoun in his first year got the Aggies to the NCAA tournament and will retain an all Mountain West first team caliber player in Mason Fallslev, who again will be a conference player of the year candidate. Beyond that, you have a mainstay in Boise State. And then you've got, as I mentioned at the top, 2 new coaches in New Mexico's Eric Olin and UNLV's Josh Pastner.
Jon Rothstein. All right, 2 things. The reason for it is we're a month out. San Diego State's going to be the preseason favorite, obviously in the Mountain West. Mm-hmm. Looking ahead, when San Diego State goes to the Pac-12, there's still going to be Gonzaga is going to join them. So you've got these 2 teams at the top of your league. You still have Boise, Utah State, Colorado State. Like, you got a good basketball league, right? Yeah. Moving forward. Now, the Mountain West, to his point, it is amazing, dude, what he said. The ACC has had 9 combined teams in the tournament the last 2 years, and the Mountain West is at 10. The ACC.
I know. It's crazy.
Historically the best conference in the history of the sport.
Duke, North Carolina.
Yeah. And somehow they've navigated this. I don't know if it'll continue again this year. I think a lot of people are high on SDSU. I don't know about the rest of the league. But I do think moving forward, San Diego State's in a sweet spot because with Gonzaga, with the CSUs, Utah State's, Boise State's, I think you're in a league where you're getting 3-4 teams in the NCAA tournament.
I think the excitement level for this season is through the roof. I don't know. I'm trying to think of another season where I could say that, like in recent memory. I know their national championship year. I don't think anybody was thinking going into the year this team was going to make a national championship run.
What about coming off that year?
I think I was about to say coming off that year after their national championship game appearance, I do feel like there was a lot of excitement going into that year because you did have a lot of returning players: Jaden Ledee, Lamont Butler, Darion Trammell, Micah Parrish. But you did lose some pretty key guys: Bradley, Mensah, Seiko,
a rope.
Yeah, but still, I mean, Jaden Ledee played at a All-American level the entire year.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could argue this upcoming season is one of the most anticipated seasons in recent memory for an Aztec basketball team.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. I mean, they've had like Kawhi's sophomore year. They've had the 2014 team.
I was saying recent, like in the Dutch era.
Yeah. I mean, in recent history, it's right there. Here's the other thing. The year they went 30-2, the expectation was not for them to go 30-2.
Same thing in 2020. 30-1.
No, that was the year I'm talking about.
Oh,
30-2.
Sorry.
Because they lost to Utah State.
Are you talking about the year Kawhi? They went to the.
No, I don't know what their record was that year. 29-3 or 4. I think their Sweet 16 loss was either their third or fourth loss. They started 20-0.
Yeah.
Maybe something like that. But point is, the expectations are super high. Point is, I think the league's going to be good. I do think that Utah State, Boise State, we haven't even mentioned Grand Canyon.
I know. Grand Canyon's
made
like,
the
hey,
tournament.
we're part of the league now.
Hey, we're here. And there might only be 1 year of overlap with the Aztecs and Grand Canyon.
But still.
But I think that's probably a win for the Aztecs from like a metric perspective. Grand Canyon's been in the NCAA tournament, I think, 3 straight years. Maybe 4 or 5. So they've been very good.
Well, when it was announced that Grand Canyon was joining the league, all the Pac-12 teams that were departing this conference to go to the Pac-12, like they weren't happy about this.
Yeah, I think that was more from like what it means for all the other sports.
Other sports,
yeah,
scheduling, adding another conference game to their schedule. But I agree. Yeah, it didn't have to do with just basketball.
Yeah. So listen, I'm excited. I think that we'll get the preseason media poll at some point in the next week or two.
Give me a top 15, even though it doesn't really matter, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
but
like an AP poll.
Yeah, but it'd be cool to see that.
Yeah, I don't know how high they're going to be in the AP poll. They'll certainly be a top 25 team, I would think. And then like in the Mountain West poll, they'll be preseason. I'm sure the team picked to win the Mountain West. But what does it even mean? You just got to get out there and you need to win. And it all will really start when they get to Vegas for this Players Era event where they're playing Michigan, they're playing Oregon. Like that's when it's all really going to truly start.
I know they're going to be in the top 25, right? Even if they're not, like I don't really care. I don't think it would bother me that much
if they were not in the top 25,
right? Because I know they're going to be a good team if they're healthy.
Mm-hmm.
They have too much talent. You've seen behind the scenes stuff with this team, and we've talked to a bunch of players and coaches, and we've heard things. It's like this team could be good. This team could be really, really good. So I don't need some, random AP poll that doesn't mean anything to tell me that.
It's true.
I'll watch it with my own 2 eyes. And if they go out there and they play good, then I don't need a poll to tell me that they're good. I will know it by just watching them.
Yeah, it's a good point. I was trying to find, I want to say when they play Michigan, by the way, in Vegas, I think I just saw a preseason ranking as Michigan at number 4 in the country. So they'll be tested is my point. They'll be tested early, but it's a good thing because it creates opportunities to begin the year in Vegas for that Players Era tournament. All right, we're going to get to the wrap on the other side to kick off hour number 3. We'll hear from Dan Zimorski at Fangraphs coming up at 4:30. And also in the 4 o'clock hour, we will give away a pair of tickets to see Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. Tickets are available right now at SeaWorld.com/San Diego. So hour 3 of Jon and Jim will kick it off with the wrap coming up next on Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. Hey guys, it is Schaefer again, and there's no better time than now to get down to your local Toyota dealer. They do have new vehicles arriving daily. We're talking about their most popular cars and trucks and SUVs. We'll get back to the trucks in a moment. So whatever kind of vehicle you're looking for, hurry into your Toyota dealer now. It's Trucktober going on right now at your Toyota dealer. Your best time to get into a new Toyota truck. They've got the largest inventory of Tacomas and Tundras ready to roll. The Tacoma is known for its legendary toughness, off-road capability, and everyday efficiency, perfect for weekend adventures or just tackling your to-do list. And the Tundra, it brings serious power, impressive towing capacity, and bold design, plus the latest tech and comfort features as well. So whether you need a truck that's built for the trails, built for work, or built for your family's next adventure, Toyota's got you covered this Trucktober. We make it easy. See your Toyota dealer today.
All right, this update's brought to you by Audible. Postseason baseball today. 4 games today in baseball. Last day of the year that will have 4 games or more on a single day. Tigers beating the Mariners in game 4, 9-3 to even up that series of 2 games apiece. Game 5 going back to Seattle. Right now, game 3 underway in Chicago. Cubs have a 4-2 lead over the Brewers in the bottom of the 5th inning. Cubs facing elimination, need to win today to force a game 4. Yankees Blue Jays moments away from first pitch in the Bronx. Yankees looking to extend the series to a decisive game 5 back in Toronto. And the Phillies and Dodgers, they play tonight 6:08 at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers looking to close out the Phillies and go back to the NLCS. Stuck in traffic? Audible's romance collection will have you falling fast in the slow lane. Satisfy every side of you with best-selling modern rom-coms, the hottest romantic series, and anticipated new releases. Start listening free when you sign up for a 30-day trial at audible.com.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? This is hour 3 of Jon and Jim, and this hour, your chance to win a pair of tickets to SeaWorld's Howl O Scream, which is going on select nights now through November 1st. So your chance to win those tickets coming up this hour. We'll give away yellow card tickets next hour. That'll be at Gallagher Square. We'll hear from Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs coming up at 4:30 as well. Did you have a point to make?
No, I did not.
All right. In the baseball postseason,
See you tomorrow.
I think
That's
Jim
all I
just
got.
told you in the update. I wasn't listening, but I think you said Mariners lost.
Yeah.
I think you said Cubs lead the Brewers 4-2.
Yeah.
I think you said Dodgers Phillies tonight.
Yeah.
And I think you said there's another game later
What's the other game?
between those 2 teams I haven't mentioned yet.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell me. Yeah, Yankees Blue Jays.
Yeah, good job.
Getting underway right now. 4
Good
p.m.
job.
Pacific.
Yeah. That was a crazy game last night. Yankees Blue Jays.
From 6-1. So the Blue Jays are 39-0 this year with a 5-run lead.
They were
Picked a bad time to blow a 5-run lead.
up 6-1, lose 9-6. Oof.
You know what that means? They were outscored 8-0.
Yeah, now there's a game 4 today.
Does it feel like the Yankees have all the momentum? It does.
Well, I mean,
to me,
the
the Blue Jays have a bullpen day.
Yes, but it could easily go away if all of a sudden the first inning the Blue Jays put up a 4 spot.
Blue Jays have scored a lot in
they
this
have.
series, even yesterday in the loss. Aaron Judge continues his just like onslaught.
He hit a pitch yesterday for a 3-run homer.
Yeah.
To tie the game up. How? 100
Incredible.
in on his hands, and he got out in front of that thing and kept that thing fair.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
What do you got, Brent?
That was like the hardest foul pole like home run I've seen. Usually, it hits and it just kind of drops.
Breezes.
This is like a field goal in the NFL to where it like doinked and then like ricocheted.
It ended up in like
off.
center field.
Yeah.
It's a little bit like, that, what's it called when like the glass door theory? Like if you walk through one door, something happens in life. And if you walk through the other door, something else. What is that called? Sliding door?
Huh?
The glass door theory? Like if you pick door number 1, your life looks like this. And if you pick door number 2, your life looks like this. Like if you didn't marry Aaron and you married Baron, your life would be different.
Yeah.
Right? If you never went on, Tinder, I don't even know where you met.
Look, if I married Baron, okay, my entire life would be completely different.
That's what I'm saying.
If you know what I mean.
But here's the other thing that I'm saying. No,
I probably wouldn't be on the show.
why not?
I don't know.
Here's my point. It wasn't that you were going to marry Baron. My point is,
Just completely changed my life.
well, that's what I'm saying. What if the Padres, when they met with Aaron Judge, signed him?
I know that's yeah.
I mean, they met with him in Petco Park at the winter meetings the year that they were willing to spend $300-something million on Trey Turner.
Right. That was never happening though.
We talked about it as if it may.
It was an amazing moment at the winter meetings because it was here in San Diego.
Didn't he bring like his dog or something?
Huh?
Maybe not. But he met with them at Petco.
But the thing was, it was either the second or the third night of the winter meetings. Probably the second night because everyone was
Right.
still there. Third night, they're all gone. Second night, winter meetings.
Yeah.
And Judge was meeting with the Padres that night.
Yeah, like flew in.
And I remember being told a story about how like everybody was just like eating food or drinking drinks or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden someone got up and was like, Judge is meeting with the Padres. And it just was like red alert. Like everyone's like, whoa, what? And everyone freaked out.
Wasn't there, tell me if I'm wrong, I might be making this up. Wasn't the report that the Padres were willing to offer more money than the Yankees?
Yes. Yeah.
That's insane.
I know. It's Peter Sider, dude. He wanted to win at all costs.
So let me get this straight. Like I said, the sliding glass door theory, even though I don't even know if it's called that.
Probably not.
There's a world where if Aaron Judge took the most money, which happens all the time with athletes, happened with Manny coming here. That's why he's here. If Aaron Judge took the most money, Aaron Judge plays for the Padres. Is that how it would work?
Yeah.
Have you seen what he's done since that winter meetings in 2022?
Back-to-back MVPs this year, last year, previous.
So you've seen it.
It's been good. It's also because they were coming off the NLCS, right?
Correct.
To continue down the road of your glass door theory. I don't even think that's what it's called.
That's what it's called.
Sliding glass door theory.
Yeah, something like that.
Look it up.
Okay.
There is a world where they sign Judge, they don't sign Xander, they don't move Tatis to the outfield, they keep him at short, Judge is in right, they don't re-sign Manny because Manny threw a fit that offseason that, where's my money? And they don't do that. Manny goes somewhere else. The whole franchise, everything changes. It's crazy.
Since that moment, Aaron Judge's OPS, since that moment, is 1,119 with 148 home runs. The Padres is a team.
Have the Padres that many home runs as a team?
Well, they didn't this year, right?
They hit what,
120 or something? I don't even know.
But it's just good.
Yeah. Anyway, I looked it up. So according to Google, the sliding door theory refers to seemingly small, inconsequential decisions.
This was not a small,
drastically alter the
inconsequential
course
decision
of a person's future.
Yeah. It's like, I take a left here instead of a right. Not hey, let's sign Aaron Judge.
Right. It's not an Aaron Barron decision. It's a smaller decision than that.
Right.
Than Aaron or Barron. All right, coming up at 4:30, Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs right now. Let's get to this.
It's time for the wrap. Presented by Sombrero Mexican Food. Check out their website at sombreromex.com.
Tonight, a must-win game for the Phillies.
No, I think they can win in 7. Even if they lose tonight, they can win in 7, right?
So you don't think it's a must-win for the Phillies?
No. They can win in 7.
The Phillies are facing a high hurdle.
Oof.
Beating Yamamoto in LA. Then who would they face in game 4? Tyler Glasnow?
Probably Tyler Glasnow. And then game 5 with Ohtani.
It would be Ohtani. So that's a very big hurdle for the Phillies. So yeah, it's a must win. But even if they win, they're unlikely to win the series.
Yeah.
You say done.
Dunzo. It's going to be Judgment Day in Philadelphia whenever this thing is over with. I mean, it's going to be a problem. Like, you think that there's a lot of question marks with this Padres franchise going forward. This could be a turning point in the franchise for the Phillies going forward. If they don't...
Turning point?
Right? At some point, you're going to be like, hey, this isn't working. Like, we went World Series, NLCS, losing Game 7, Division Series, swept in Division Series. Like, this core we have is not going to get it done. So we got to figure this out. We got to change some things up.
Who's their GM is Preston Mattingly.
It is?
It is.
He's
only been there for a year, but he has someone over top him, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Is it Dombrowski?
Dombrowski, yeah. He's their Preller. No one
until they bring in Preller.
Well, here's the no, I don't think so.
I don't think so.
Well, not Don Mattingly. Preston Mattingly is boys with Preller.
Correct.
Uh-oh.
Oh my. It's a must win for the Phillies. Next question.
Which team is the biggest threat to the Dodgers to win the World Series?
Nobody. It's over.
No, that's not true.
Dodgers in 5, unfortunately.
But who's the biggest threat? Like, is it Milwaukee?
It was the Phillies.
Is it Toronto? Is it the Yankees?
It was the Phillies. And the Phillies are going to get swept.
So you're saying it's smooth sailing after the series for LA?
I think this is going to be a coronation of the Dodgers franchise coming up here this postseason, unfortunately. And I think that they're going to win the World Series. And I think they're going to never face any adversity. They're never going to be in an elimination game. They're not going to be in like a close 7-game series where they win in game 7. I think this is going to be just like
cakewalk.
Like start the dynasty talk.
Do you think,
unfortunately,
they lose a game?
I think they do.
I
think they do, but I don't think it's going to be where they ever face
real adversity. Like
they're trailing in the series 2 games to 1, or they're trailing 3 games to 1. I just don't see it happening, because if they sweep tonight, they finish off the sweep, they will then have a fully rested rotation going to the NLCS with Ohtani, Snell, Yamamoto, Glasnow. Good luck. Their offense is still their offense. Their pitching has been their biggest problem, but their offense is fine. And then once they would get to a World Series, same song and dance. Ohtani, Snell, Glasnow, Yamamoto, Roki Sasaki's turned into like freaking Mason Miller at the back end of their bullpen. Good luck.
I think the biggest threat to the Dodgers is themselves.
Exactly.
I just wanted to say
it's
that.
the Dodgers.
Yeah, I mean, they're very likely, obviously, at this point to win the World Series, unfortunately. Next question.
Are the WNBA finals over with the Aces leading the Mercury 2-0?
I'm not joking. I did not even know that they played multiple games in the series.
What do you think it is then? It's 2-0.
I thought it was 1-0. Like, I thought they only played 1 game.
What do you think? It's best of 5, best of 7, best of 30?
It's best of 5.
Yeah, you're wrong.
Oh, it is?
It's best of 7.
And
so this thing is not over.
I thought it used to be best of 5.
It was. This is the first year it was best of 7.
That's why. There we go.
So are you willing to write off the Mercury, who trailed the Aces 2-0?
Yeah.
You're willing to write them off?
Yeah, they're done.
I think they're done. I think the Aces are winning this. Are the Aces a dynasty? I feel like they win it all the time.
They are, yeah. Asia Wilson, MVP. She's going to win it. I think
Is Caitlin Clark going to play in the playoffs in her career? Isn't that kind of a prerequisite?
There were so many injuries this year to like key players, like players that actually I knew the names of.
Right. Did we talk about the story that Juju Watkins is not going to play her final college year because of her ACL?
No, we didn't.
Okay. Next question.
Who's your preseason favorite for NBA MVP?
Hey, good question.
It is a good question. I'll go Shea again, just because he's going to put up some monster numbers once again. And the Thunder get fouled a lot. Thunder are going to be one of the best teams in the league unless they get injured.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think if Shea averages 30 points a game again, it's a number 1 seed. I'll go Shea.
What about Skinny Luka?
Skinny
in
Luka.
LA.
Interesting.
Focal point, full off season, full year in LA.
I think he could return back to all NBA Luka.
But not MVP Luka.
Not if the Lakers are kind of just like a mid team. And
Does it matter more in the NBA? You have to be good.
Yeah.
You can't just be on a 48 and 44 team or whatever.
No, you have to be
48 and 34.
You have to be one of the best teams in basketball.
Westbrook ran it that 1 year.
But he would average the average triple double.
He averaged his first triple double, but that also I feel like was like a not a gift MVP, but it was like, hey, we feel sorry for you because of the whole KD situation,
right?
And you average a triple double, so your numbers stack up, so it will justify giving you this MVP,
right?
But yeah, you're right. I mean, you have seen MVPs on teams that aren't like great teams,
right?
But rarely do you see that. You usually, if you are a top team in the league, either the 1 or the 2 seed, right? Those are the teams you're going to see with like the MVPs. Rarely do you see an MVP from like a 5, 6, 7 seed.
That's fair.
The current odds, the Joker is plus 275. Shea is plus 250. Luka is plus 360. And then it's like Giannis plus 1,000 and Wemby plus 1,300.
Wemby. I forgot about Wemby.
He
was hurt last year.
I would throw a bill on Wemby.
Would you? So you put 100 on Wemby, and if that hits, you win $1,300.
Sure.
If he stays healthy. But go back to your theory. Are the Spurs going to be a top 3 seed or 2 seed in the West? Probably not.
But Wemby is the type of unicorn
Yes, he's
that people would be like,
7'5".
what?
Whoa, look at this year. Yeah,
But
that's a good point.
You'd have to put up like massive numbers, though.
Steph Curry, Jim, plus 17,000.
Is that right?
At 17,500. Is he
Hey, look,
healthy?
Look, we have moved past the MVP days for Steph Curry. All right, those things aren't important to him anymore. All right, we're on to bigger and better things, like getting the 7th seed. All right,
Like getting hurt in game 2 of the playoffs or whatever.
Yeah, we're worried about our hamstrings. All right, those are more important than MVPs in Golden State. We got to keep those old guys in shape. All right, make sure that those hammies get pulled.
Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs at 4:30. We're giving away tickets to Howl O Scream this hour as well. We're here until 6 p.m. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, Dan Zimorski Fangraphs at 4:30. We are here until 6 p.m. Later this hour, your chance to win tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. We started the show talking about the Padres and the offseason that's underway and about them lacking a killer instinct. That's where we are, by the way. A week ago, we were reacting to a Game 2 win. Today?
What is today?
Your mic is off.
I know. What's today? Wednesday. We were
reacting to a Game 2
reacting to a Game 2 win. Yeah, we
this second.
Yeah.
Right this second. Manny's the hero.
Now the game I think ended more or less around like 3-ish, but yeah, right.
But we're still talking about it.
For sure.
Right this second. Manny's the greatest player in baseball's history. It's Babe Ruth and Manny. It's hard to say who's better.
Right. They
Aaron Judge,
the same.
Shohei and Manny, right?
Yeah,
this is
exactly.
The four horsemen.
Yeah.
And then a day later, we were saying different things. And now a week later, we're saying they have no killer instinct. We're not saying it, but what was reported by Kevin Acee, some players and others in the organization believe the Padres lack a sort of killer instinct and will to dominate that also fosters consistency. It's an interesting sentence, by the way, is it not?
Mm-hmm.
Like if you type that into ChatGPT and say, make it make sense, don't you agree with that? Like the Padres lack a sort of, not a killer instinct, a sort of killer instinct and will. Like it's just a lot in there.
It's a little loaded.
Don't you agree?
It's a little loaded. But
the point is like what a difference a week makes.
That's what happens in sports. One second, everything's great. The next second, everything's not great. That's how it is. And then these narratives get created, whether you like it or not. Because I can tell you one thing, it won't be quiet. Like this is the number one draw in this city. And they have expectations that they have put on themselves that are very high, which is World Series. That's all they talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Every press release is regarding them going and winning their first World Series in franchise history.
Right.
You're not seeing that with like the Pirates end of season press release or the Rockies end of season press release.
Sure.
The Padres, until they do it, their end of season press releases are World Series. We did not reach our ultimate goal of winning a World Series.
You're right. I mean, John Seiler wrote that.
Did he write it?
He wrote that they didn't reach their goal.
Do you think?
Didn't he write it?
No, I know he did. But my
oh, did he write it?
Yeah. Do you think that Johnny Boy, John Seiler,
do I think he actually wrote it?
Sat down in his office, wherever it is at Petco.
No, I don't think he wrote it.
Took out a pen or ChatGPT and sat there and was like, you know what? Time to go to work, guys. I need to write this statement.
I think he may have taken out ChatGPT and done that. But no, I mean, that's the purpose of public relations and staffs. He didn't have to actually write it word for word, but he should have reviewed it. And like, he should be okay with putting his name on it.
He's like, that's good. Do it.
Like, you think he even read it? Yeah. I think he read it.
Yeah. I mean, he signed it, so you got to read it.
What do you think John Seiler's doing right now? Is he doing the thorough review?
Yeah. Where's that thorough review, bro?
Is the thorough review going on right now?
And what is the thorough review? Like, how long does that need? How long do you need?
Well, thorough implies time.
Okay.
Thorough should take a week. So maybe they're in the midst of the thorough review. And on the other side of the thorough review is we'll hear from the organization.
Mm-hmm.
But I think they're in the midst of a thorough review right now. Well, guess what? Yeah, are they including this in their thorough review that they lack the killer instinct?
Maybe.
And that's what people in the organization are saying?
Maybe.
But what are you going to do about it after your thorough review? Hey, Manny, go have a killer instinct.
This is funny in Acee's article. By all accounts and appearances, the Padres enjoy each other's company and are united by their collective cause.
Okay.
Like players or like everybody in the organization? Because that's not true. He also did mention that they will review or at least discuss an AJ Preller extension over the coming weeks.
Whoa. That was in that article?
Yes.
We probably should have read that.
No, I did read it. But
well, that's a big part of it, is it not?
Look, I'm sorry. I'm going to have to see it to believe it.
Okay, so that reporting you have to see to believe.
Yeah.
On Preller getting an extension.
Yeah. Like I feel like I need to see it come down on my timeline.
What did he exactly write?
I'm looking for it because I had it marked, but I can't find it.
Okay, that's fine.
Maybe we can read it next segment. I'll have it for you next segment because
because Dan Zimorski's.
Well,
okay, that's fine. If you find it, we'll start the next segment with what Kevin wrote about a Preller extension.
Okay,
he's double triple down on Preller staying.
He has. Whenever Kevin Acee is asked about Preller, he is very confident that he will be returning, and it will be with a contract extension.
All right, we'll share that with you on the other side. Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs on the other side. Hal O'Scream tickets as well coming up. This is Jon and Jim. Stay with us.
This update is brought to you by Dell Technologies. Postseason baseball game. There's only one game that is final right now. Tigers and Mariners. That series is now tied up at 2 games apiece as the Tigers won today 9-3 to force a game 5 back in Seattle. We're in the top of the 7th inning in Chicago. Cubs clinging on to a 4-3 lead over the Brewers. Cubs need to win to force a game 4. Brewers looking to advance to the NLCS. Blue Jays Yankees underway in the Bronx. Blue Jays with an early 1-0 lead there. And Phillies Dodgers, game 3 of that series, 6:08 first pitch at Dodger Stadium. Dodgers have a commanding 2-0 series lead. Your new Dell PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you handle a lot when your holiday to-dos get to be a lot, like organizing holiday shopping, responding to requests, and customers requesting custom things. Luckily, the Dell PC helps you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside. Get yours at Dell.com/deals.
All right, Jon and Jim, we're going to hear from Dan Zimorski at Fangraphs momentarily. But first, Jim has found the wording from Kevin Acee in his article about the offseason about Preller's future. What's it say?
Kevin writes, but now what? The Padres decision makers will meet in the coming weeks to go over many things, including discussions regarding an extension for President of Baseball Operations AJ Preller and talks about the status of members of the coaching staff.
Well, I mean, he's basically saying Preller returning as a formality. Is he not? That's what he's saying.
Kevin is saying that the likelihood of AJ leaving is very low and that he will likely get a contract extension. Right. Also kind of leaning into what we discussed the last couple of days about the coaching staff and some changes to it. Like if Victor Rodriguez goes, he goes, like you can't have this season offensively without nothing changing.
Right.
So yeah, this is what they're doing in this moment in time. And it's interesting like that. It's radio silent from them. It is as radio silent as it could get from an organization after the end of their season.
Completely. We're waiting to hear what comes next with the Padres. Speaking of the Padres, we've got Dan Zimorski, right? Dan Zimorski joined us earlier. We started the conversation by asking Dan for his 30,000-foot view of the Padres coming off 2025.
Obviously, it didn't end in the way anybody wanted. I think it was generally successful. You look at kind of the uncertainty coming into the season because there were some real concerns about some of the power positions, DH, corner, outfield, outside of Fernando Tatis, of course. There were concerns about what happens with the pitching, about the depth, and they got through the season pretty well. They did, make the Dodgers uncomfortable, which is always a nice thing if you're not, a Dodgers fan. So it was definitely a successful season because, when it started, there were so many concerns about the payroll in the future. But now, of course, it's also unsatisfying in a way to go out so quickly. And you look forward and you say, oh, we have to find a lot of starting pitching this offseason. So I guess 2025 is mixed feelings. I guess it should be.
So a lot of the conversations here in San Diego throughout the year was the lack of power with this team. Going into the postseason, they had the least amount of home runs of any postseason team this year. And we know that home runs in the postseason is, what gets you far. And that's kind of where the game has turned to. And they turned into a small ball, a lot of bunting, a lot of sack bunting this year. When you look at this team this past season and the bunting and the lack of power, how do they improve on that next year? Because do you agree, like the bunting was not going to get them very far?
Yeah, people always like bunting, and it's a game I grew up on. I was born in 1978, so I saw a lot of 80s and early 90s baseball before the home run really just burst forward again. You do have to hit home runs to win the postseason because on a fundamental level, if you look at teams that win the postseason, one of the very few things that are more important than actual season record is teams that have a disproportionate number of their runs from home runs actually slightly overperform in the postseason. One of the hypotheses behind that is that if you look at some great pitchers, the way you can get to a great pitcher is frequently home runs. Clayton Kershaw, when he struggled, Justin Verlander, when he's had struggles at times in the postseason, guys like that, when they struggle in the postseason, it's not that they're not striking out guys and it's not that they're walking a ton of guys. It's that they're allowing a lot of home runs usually. So it is hard to do a small ball team that can, dependably win runs because you do need to have runs. Now, fixing it is a trickier problem because there's a real question is how much can they invest in the team? Now, they do have a lot of the bones of a good offensive team. You still have Tatis. You still have Machado. Jackson Merrill should have a better season. I think, someone like Ryan O'Hearn is someone who could be brought back, I think, at not a crazy cost. But I don't know if they can really transform quickly into a top offense that, of course, you would like to see.
Dan Zimorski, Fangraphs with us right now on Jon and Jim. I'm curious to get your thoughts on Is Fernando Tatis Jr. now the player we've seen the last 3 years? Like I just pulled it up at Baseball Reference. He was a 965 OPS player his first 3 years in the major leagues. He missed all of 2022 for a variety of reasons, suspension and injury. Since then, the last 3 years, his combined OPS is 803. Do you envision more of what we've seen here recently, even though he's entering his age 27 season, or can he get back to the player he was as a 20-year-old?
I think there was significant more upside on that level remaining coming into the season. But this year, I mean, he was essentially healthy all year. And, the most recent year is the most predictive of the future. Obviously, there's still that upside remaining. But I think that if he's a 130 OPS plus guys, someone who has a good on-base percentage, can hit 25, 30 home runs, play really good defense in a corner outfield position. Because, I mean, you look at him and he's regularly been kind of a Gold Glove candidate out there. So that has value. But I don't know if he's going to get to those dizzying heights that we saw, in his early 20s. There's kind of a misconception. Players don't necessarily peak at 27. A lot of stars do peak fairly early. Sometimes it's not that players who break out early are going to just continue to improve when they hit 27. Sometimes you're just seeing them at their peak. And we might have already seen peak Tatis. But the good news is that less off-peak Tatis was still a really, really good player. And if Tatis is even one of your top 20 problems, you're probably doing pretty well.
So you mentioned, and we all know that the pitching next year, there's going to be a lot of changes in the rotation. We've talked a lot about offense this year, but it sounds like you're saying that the biggest need for them this offseason would be the pitching staff.
Yeah, I think fundamentally, if you're not going to be able to turn the offense into a juggernaut in an offseason, and I don't think they can, you're going to have to figure out how to fill that pitching staff because there's only so much you can cover up, but just with what you have on hand. I do think that they're probably going to go after low-key free agents, but I don't know if they really can rebuild a pitching staff. It's going to need some creativity, maybe some trades, but I think we'll know a little better once we get kind of closer to the offseason, like what teams are thinking of.
If they had the ability to re-sign one of these pitchers, who would you feel the safest with a long-term investment, Michael King or Dylan Cease?
I think King. I think fundamentally Cease would actually cost more than King, although you said money wasn't necessarily a part of it. But King, I mean, he did show in 2024 at least that he could get through a full season healthy. I mean, obviously not this time around, but it feels like he has less mileage on his arm. Maybe that's just me. I still kind of think that he's still, not a complete starting pitcher yet, and there might be a little more upside there to squeeze out. Maybe I'm wrong. I've always liked Cease. I think, though, you have to go into 2026 with one of them, though, or something really has to go right otherwise.
Well, let me ask you this, because Mason Miller's coming off this ridiculous season, right? He didn't have the full value in the postseason because, you have to have a lead for him to have that full value, and they lose to the Cubs. Is there an argument to be made analytically or otherwise that Mason Miller should be converted to a starter, or is that too wishful?
It's funny that sounds good to me because I'm a stat guy.
Yeah.
But I don't always. It's easy for me to say it because if he gets injured, he does have a past injury history. It doesn't really hurt me too much if he gets injured. It hurts the team that does that. I would explore it carefully. I certainly wouldn't go into with any expectation about him, throwing 180 innings or anything. He might be more of a 5-inning special guy. But I think when you need to fill holes, all solutions should be on the table, no matter how crazy they sound.
Yeah, and I'm sure they'll have all those discussions. Looking at the postseason right now with the remaining teams here, Dan, 4 games today, all very important, obviously. But when you look at the rest of this postseason right now, with everything that we've seen so far, has anything changed your mind on maybe who you had before the start of the postseason, or do you still feel the same way right now where everything stands?
Well, I thought the Phillies were going to come out of the NL. That's not looking so good right now.
Yeah.
Because the Phillies are a dangerous team if they could get their pitching on the field. They haven't really. I don't know how I feel about Aaron Nola start since we've seen he's had a pretty up and down season, mostly down. So I think the Dodgers are in a strong position because you look at their starting rotation. They do have a lot of guys on the IL, but the guys they really like are mostly healthy right now. And that's kind of unusual for the Dodgers. So it annoys me a little because, they're the juggernaut team that spends the most money, but they're probably a better team now than they were at a random spot during the regular season. So I think they're probably the team to beat. But again, it annoys me.
Well, it annoys you. Imagine living in San Diego and covering the Padres for a living. I mean, think about it. If the Dodgers were to do it, and again, they have to do it. We'll see. They're favored again heading into next year. I mean, probably win or lose this year. Yeah. They're the favorite to win a World Series. I mean, at some point, it's like, when is this thing gonna?
It also feels like they're a team that is built for a postseason run like this with Blake Snell and
top of the rotation,
Yamamoto,
the
Glass
offense.
now. It's like, it feels like they're just built for this regular season wise. Feel like they're kind of walking through it a little bit.
Yeah.
Remember, I'm from Baltimore, so I have my own frustrations with the 2025 season.
No doubt about it. You do.
Yeah,
you do. You do. Dan, appreciate you taking time for us. Hope all is well. We'll catch up again with you later in the offseason.
Oh, it's fun, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right. Padres, of course, offseason underway. Great to connect with Dan Zimorski from Fangraphs. We can get more into what Kevin wrote in the UT here earlier in the week. Also, on the other side, we're going to give away some tickets for you. We've got a pair of tickets to Howl O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. Boo. So we'll give those away on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We've got tickets to the Yellow Card as well. We'll give those away in the 5 o'clock hour. We've got our eyes on the Major League Baseball postseason as well. We're here until 6. It's Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760, and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 will give away these tickets to Howl O Scream coming up between now and the top of the hour. So we'll give this away in the next 10 minutes or so. Howl O Scream going on now at SeaWorld San Diego. All right, let's do a deep dive into these baseball playoffs going on right now.
Okay.
So how deep can we go here? We've got Tigers, Mariners heading back to Seattle for Game 5. Is this a game that Tariq Skubal will appear in and start?
It will be because of the off day. So, you know, what we talked about before the postseason began is like, it's Padres can just get to the division round. You're going to have all those off days and you're going to let your bullpen cook.
Right.
That didn't happen. But with the off days, Tariq Skubal will be starting Game 5. It's already been announced. TBD for the Mariners. Now, Brian Wu, is that his name? Brian Wu? Brian Wu. He's on the IL. He's out of the division series. So I don't know what Seattle's going to do in a Game 5, but what's the place called? It's not Safeco still, right?
Let's just call it Safeco.
Safeco Field, Mariners Ballpark.
I feel like it's like a
that place
T-Mobile. I was going to say I feel like it's the internet or something.
That place will be rocking. Now, a little bit of an issue because Game 5, you would think prime time. Now, it still might be prime time if the Yankees and Blue Jays do not go to a Game 5.
Oh, but you're saying it might be at like 10 a.m. or something?
But as of right now, if Yankees, Blue Jays go to a Game 5, then Tigers, Mariners on Friday would be at 1:40 in the afternoon.
1:40 Pacific on a Friday. That's bizarre.
That's brutal.
What's interesting is they beat Skubal in Seattle in Game 2 behind Luis Castillo.
They did.
And Castillo threw a ton of pitches in that game.
Yeah, I don't know if he's going to be on the mound for Game 5. He maybe could be because
the same as Skubal. Yeah, they pitched the same day.
Now, is this on? Let's see here.
So that would have been, when was Game 2?
Game 2 was Sunday.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday.
Four off days.
So Castillo should be on the mound for Game 5.
Okay, so that's fascinating, obviously. Mm-hmm. Then we've got Cubs trying to extend this to a fourth game and leading right now in the bottom of the seventh inning, 4-3, potentially threatening for more with 2 outs. This would bring it to a fourth game if the Cubs can win today. Mm-hmm. Brewers still, I would say, in command of this series. Even if they need the fifth game, they'll be at home. They looked very good at home.
I'm watching the Cubs and I'm like, I don't know if they have enough.
Right.
Their pitching, they definitely don't have enough pitching wise. The injury to Cade Horton was massive.
Yep.
Suzuki and Matthew Boyd, even though they pitched great against the Padres, other than one pitch by Suzuki, got lit up by the Brewers in games 1 and 2. Taillon pitched pretty well today, but even if the Cubs take this one, I don't know if they can win 3 in a row against Milwaukee.
I would agree with that. Then you have the Blue Jays, who yesterday in New York going for a sweep, jumped out to a 6-1 lead in the third inning, only to lose 9-6. Now, they are still clinging to this 1-0 lead on a Vladdy RBI single from earlier. It's only in the third inning, though. Mm-hmm. So this at Yankee Stadium, again, be careful how you say this, Cam Schlittler on the mound for the New York Yankees in this winner-go-home game for the Yankees. How do you feel about the series right now? I could be convinced either way. I could be convinced that the Blue Jays are going to win it or the Yankees, truthfully, are going to win it. I feel like the Yankees took momentum yesterday.
Yeah, but still, the Blue Jays offense is the Blue Jays offense.
True.
Tell me if this is a good postseason so far. Just
Vladdy?
Is this a good postseason? 9 for 14, 3 home runs, 9 RBIs. He's hitting in the postseason right now, 643 with a 1,911 OPS.
Yeah, it's good. It's more hits in the postseason than the Padres had.
Literally more hits than the top 3 in the Padres lineup had in the postseason in 3 games combined.
Right.
He's played 4. This is his 4th game, but still.
The bye. That's insane.
That is ridiculous.
Ridiculous.
Like, excuse me? Dude.
We'll see if they can finish that off. Okay.
And then tonight we have Yamamoto against Nola. Nola's got a 5 ERA on the year. Not particularly great for the Phillies. Sorry, he's a 6 ERA on the season.
601. And the Dodgers tonight at home are minus 185, which is a very healthy favorite in the playoffs. Now, when that game starts, what time's that game?
6:08.
Be no one there when that game starts. No one. be half full maybe.
Do you take anything from the Phillies wearing throwback powder blues tonight?
I thought there were like rules on this.
They got the rules changed for them. They asked, and Major Baseball complied.
Why are they wearing them?
Switch it up.
They could use a switch up.
They could use a switch up.
You can wear your alternate. You just can't wear the City
Got
Connect.
you. So this is the alternate.
Yeah, this is the
alternate.
Schmidt.
This is their brown top.
Yes.
Is the Padres alternate is the brown top.
Yeah.
Or that's actually their road.
That's the road. They have
The sand is the alternate. The pinstripe.
Right.
They never wore the brown top, by the way, this year.
They
How many times they wore the brown top this year?
Rarely ever.
3 times?
It's up to the pitcher to decide what you want to wear as a team.
I'm gonna look at the game notes. So would you agree they very rarely wore that this year?
Very rarely.
So Phillies are gonna wear baby blues like 1980s style at Dodger Stadium.
Yeah.
I don't know if that'll save you.
Yeah, the only thing that's going to save them is if same thing as the Padres. If the top 3 in the lineup, they start hitting because those 3, Turner, Schwarber, and Harper, woof.
This to me feels over. Dodgers Phillies like fully over. I don't even need to really turn it on now. Who knows? Things can change quick in a best of 5 series, but I'm not expecting it. Like you said, Nola's 6 ERA against the Dodgers lineup
at Dodger Stadium.
So that means the Phillies are going to have to score like 8
7
runs tonight,
yeah,
to be in this game.
I do think the Blue Jays Yankees series is over, but it could go game 5. I think that even though it's 1-0 right now, bottom of the 3rd inning.
Yep.
I think there's a good chance the Yankees could force a game 5, but I don't think they're winning on the road in Toronto. Cubs Brewers, I think they can win a game here. I don't think they're going to bring this back to Milwaukee. Obviously, we get a game 5 on Friday with Mariners Tigers, which is awesome. Phillies Dodgers, this thing is over tonight, in my opinion. So 1, potentially 2 game 5s in the division round.
Well, we know 1.
I think
we'll get a second.
Okay.
Nah, I say that. We need the Yankees to win tonight.
The Yankees win tonight, and we need the Cubs to finish this one off tonight. They're leading 4-3 in the top of the 8th inning, and they also need to win game 4, which would be tomorrow at 6:08.
By the way, remember when the Mariners had the record-breaking regular season 01, 116 and 46?
That's a good year.
And they didn't make the World Series. They lost in the ALCS.
Yeah.
That's their last trip to the ALCS. That's what's on the line, obviously, on Friday. And since that moment, since the 116 win team, they played in the playoffs 1 time in 2022.
Yeah, their first win in over 2 decades was in this series against Tigers.
Incorrect. They swept the Blue Jays in the 2022 wildcard series.
First one at home?
Maybe. Because they swept the wildcard series against the Blue Jays, got swept by the Astros in the divisional series in 2022.
They on the road?
I have no idea.
Mariners Blue Jays?
No clue.
Then maybe it's the home win that's been elusive of this team
since 01.
Yeah, that's what I think I heard. Not
that makes sense.
Because they haven't won a home playoff game.
Like, you think the Padres have a bad playoff history? This is every series ever played by the Mariners.
Oh my gosh!
Their first ever series was played in 1995. 95, 97, 2000, 2001, 2022, and now. That's it. And how many World Series have they appeared in?
Let me answer that for you.
Zip.
Less than 0.
Zip, 0, and zilch. All
Negative
right.
World Series.
Call right now if you want 2 free tickets to Hal O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. Caller 7, you are going. 2 free tickets to Hal O Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. Call 877-767-4760. That's 877-767-4760. This year, new horrors awaken with 5 haunted houses, 8 terrifying scare zones, hidden speakeasies, and the shrills of coasters after dark. Select nights now through November 1st. Get tickets now at SeaWorld.com/San Diego. All right, more in the baseball postseason. Looking ahead to tomorrow, Thursday Night Football in the NFL. More on what Kevin Acee had to write about the Padres as the offseason is underway. It's the final hour of Jon and Jim on San Diego Sports 760, and it's next.
This update's brought to you by Dell Technologies. Baseball postseason action. Tigers Mariners earlier this afternoon. Tigers beat the Mariners 9-3 to force a Game 5 on Friday in Seattle. Cubs Brewers, top of the 8th inning. Cubs clinging to a 4-3 lead with 2 on and 1 out in the top of the 8th inning. Brewers are threatening. Yankees and Blue Jays are now tied up at 1 in the bottom of the 3rd. And Phillies Dodgers, Game 3 of that series, first pitch in about an hour from now at Dodger Stadium. Your new Dell PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you handle a lot when your holiday to-dos get to be a lot, like organizing holiday shopping, responding to requests, and customers requesting custom things. Luckily, the Dell PC helps you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel inside. Get yours at Dell.com/deals.
Getting you all set for that drive home. Let's just start the show. Here's Jon and Jim.
All right, San Diego and Southern California, what's going on? Final hour of Jon and Jim with you until 6 p.m. This hour, we do have a giveaway for you. And that giveaway is tickets to see Yellow Card, Day to Remember Tour, October 23rd, Gallagher Square, Petco Park. You know Yellow Card. There's a place down on Ocean Avenue.
Yeah. No, that's
a
jam.
jam.
That's a jam.
That's a jam.
That's a banger,
That is a banger.
as the kids would say.
Now, that is a jam. It's going back a little ways.
Yeah.
But I like when that comes on at Orange Theory,
I
run
will
faster.
declare said song banger.
Right?
Yes.
Now, I think they have other bangers. Brian, do they have other bangers? You don't know Yellow Card? You need to get out.
Come on, Brent.
All right, Yellow Card, October 23rd. We'll give away tickets coming up later this hour. We have not a banger, but a barn burner, by the way, between the Cubs and the Brewers.
Back and forth.
Cubs
very tense in
holding
Milwaukee,
on
Chicago.
For dear life. They lead 4-3 in the 8th inning. They will have a pitching change. The Brewers have men on the corners with 2 outs. Cubs trying to hold on for dear life and force that 4th game at Wrigley.
Yeah, everyone's a little tight.
Tense. I bet it's very tense there.
Probably very tense.
You think a lot of people on their way out are getting tortellini pizza, win or lose? Because I went to the place right outside Wrigley. Mr. C's or something?
My guess would be no.
Curse of the tortellini pizza? Like the Billy Goat?
Is there going to be one person in that stadium that gets tortellini pizza tonight? One person.
Yes.
Out of damn near 40,000 people.
Maybe not. But I got it.
I guess is no. Well, yeah, but that you're John.
But I cursed the Padres because I got it before that series.
You cursed a lot of things with the Padres this year.
What else?
Jackson Merrill.
I bought all these
Tatis
cards
Jr.
and they all went into the tank. I know.
What else? Ethan Salas. You bought Ethan Salas card. Now his back is broke forever.
What is the deal with him? Wasn't he in like the Arizona Fall League? And they're like, nah, just kidding.
Yeah, they're like, oh, his back's hurting.
What's your best guess on Ethan Salas's like major league career? Forget about San Diego. Forget about timing. Is he going to be a tenured, long-time major leaguer? Well, I mean, I still think should be in the big leagues for a long time. If you're a catcher and you can catch, you can spend 15 years in the big leagues.
Here's my hot take. We never see him in a Padres uniform.
Whoa, that's a hot take.
Hot take.
We never see Ethan Salas in a Padres uniform.
Yeah, he's not it. Guy can't hit, John. And now his back is broke.
Guy can't hit. He's 19.
Okay. He's gone from like a top 10 prospect in baseball to like damn near out of the top 100.
That is true. No, that is true.
As you say, like
it happens quick.
It does happen very quickly. Top prospect can become from a top prospect to
no prospect.
Exactly. Like that.
So you didn't see it in his 10 games this year in AA when he hit 188 with a 544 OPS. That wasn't enough to convince you that he's an everyday Padre for the next 10 years.
Well, I also looked at the rest of his career in the minors and yeah, no, it hasn't.
652 career OPS, 221 career batting average. You know how many home runs Ethan Salas has hit in his minor league career, which is like 100 years at this point?
What, 6?
13. It's actually not that bad. It's only played 189 games.
Well, he wasn't the guy that I was going to be betting on as far as like a prospect to come up with the Padres and perform. That was the guy they traded away for Mason Miller. So
you think Salas? You don't see him taking over.
It's just a hot
job.
take. It's just a hot take on October 8th with nothing to talk about. So there you go. All right.
Mark it.
I'm just throwing out hot takes.
Mark it when he's playing his 9th straight All-Star game.
Dude, that I would love nothing more
for
than
the
that.
Mariners.
For the Detroit Tigers.
All right, this is how we started the show. Play it, Brent. No, this is how we started the show. Kevin Acee wrote an article earlier this week at the start of the offseason for the Padres. And in the article, he wrote about AJ Preller's future and a possible extension coming in the weeks ahead. He also wrote this, which is, you know me with the word damning. This is pretty damning. He wrote, some players and others in the organization believe the Padres lack a sort of killer instinct and will to dominate that also fosters consistency. So he wrote that. He just kind of took the sledgehammer to it, right? Like they lack the it factor. And that has been proven time and time again in the postseason with Manny Machado here since 2019. They have not gotten over humps. They've made postseasons, but they haven't made more than one real run. That was in 2022.
Yeah.
What's your reaction? I don't even know what your reaction was 3 hours ago. When you hear that, what's your reaction?
Sorry, I just got distracted.
Brewers Cubs?
What the hell just happened there?
What happened?
Did they call a timeout, Brent? Did he? Oh, he got granted timeout. No, he didn't. Oh my gosh. So Keller's on the mound for the Cubs. And I don't know who's batting right now, but he just called the time, umped and granted to him. So Keller had a free pitch and he threw a ball.
Oh, wow.
Look at this.
Yeah.
Free pitch, ball. Now he's up in the count.
Yeah,
1-2. But anyway, all right, back to the discussion at hand.
Killer instinct.
Yeah. When you see that written from Kevin Acee, it's like, where does your mind go to immediately? It's not hard. It's to Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
It's the Fernando Tatis Jr. And you know why it goes directly to Manny Machado? For reasons like this, when Manny speaks about, urgency and killer instincts.
Urgency. You see, this is why I do not like reporters. This is why. The words that you guys use, urgency, the team getting hot at the right moment. I mean, these are words that you guys make for bigger stories than what it is. You got to go out there and play baseball. You got to go out there and make 27 outs. It doesn't matter about urgency. There's no urgency. You put urgency, you're gonna be in a hole. So it's a matter of playing our game. Let's keep it simple. We got to catch the ball, hit the ball, and play the best baseball that we could possibly have, and leave it up to you guys to write stories about it.
Kevin's writing stories about it. Well, Manny's way, though, hasn't worked. If you're urgent, or you're talking about urgency, you're going to be in a hole real quick. But whatever Manny truly believes in his heart hasn't worked. So, maybe it is time to switch what you're thinking.
And
when it comes to urgency.
Maybe he did feel urgency, and maybe it was discussed behind closed doors last year. Like, hey, we gotta go out and we gotta try to score first, and we gotta and they ended up choking. And the pressure got to him as a team. You can't tell me it didn't, because it absolutely did last year against the Dodgers. And so maybe because of that experience, there was a little hey, let's do the opposite, because we put so much pressure on ourselves last year, and look what happened. Well, look what happened again. Eventually it's going to come back around. I don't know how you fix this with this team. I don't, other than just be better. But that strategy of just be better, it's just such a bad strategy to try to implement on a team when you're not going to be making maybe significant changes with your roster.
This was the Toddy post-game game 3 theory. Hey, what do you guys need to do? What do we need to do? We need to bleeping hit, which is, again, easy to say. Or Manny, it's very easy to say, if we're dealing with urgency, we're going to be in a hole. We just need to play baseball. But nobody has a true reason. Maybe Kevin is spot on, truthfully. And again, there's no way to address it, but maybe he's spot on that their leaders, and I hate to put it this bluntly, their leaders are just not it when it comes to leading a team to the promised land. You hate to say that because there's no way out of it. You're in a corner. You're not parting ways with Manny Machado. You're not trading Fernando Tatis Jr. But what if Manny and Toddy aren't the right two leaders, quote unquote, to lead a team where everyone wants them to go? That's hard to admit.
Well, tough S, because they got no other option.
But don't you agree? Man, that's tough situation.
Yeah.
Did you hitch your horse to the wrong wagon?
That's been a conversation, I feel like, going back to 2019, because 2019, coming off of a World Series run with the Dodgers, and the Dodgers are regarded as the best organization in baseball. They said thanks, but no thanks to an all-star in Manny Machado when they clearly had the resources and money to bring Manny back. They chose Justin Turner over Manny Machado.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. And Corey Seager.
Yep, that's exactly what they did. That's exactly what they did.
Now they won it in 2020, but like that year it was just whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But still, after the 2018 World Series, they had a legitimate chance to re-sign Manny Machado. I guarantee you, if the Dodgers offered 280, but the Padres offered 300, I bet you he'd think long and hard about the 280 from the Dodgers.
Mm-hmm. Well, they weren't offering close to 280.
But you get my point. And they were like, "No, we're good."
Make an offer, right?
Yeah, they did. They didn't. They never did.
Think about that.
And up until Mookie Betts, they never gave a position player $300 million.
No, I know.
And they chose Mookie, and then after Mookie, Freddie. But Freddie is like under 200. It was kind of a really good deal. And then once Ohtani came around, it's like we're going to give everything to Ohtani. But still, going back to 2018, man, I know people are like might roll your eyes, like, "Oh, are we still talking about that?" They chose Justin Turner and Corey Seager over Manny Machado. Everybody's player in town that thinks like this is the greatest player ever. Sorry.
I don't know if honestly, Jim, I don't even know if people think that way about Manny. I mean, you're 14 years in and you've seen the good, bad, and the ugly here. Half of his career has been here. He spent 7 years.
Sorry.
He has spent 7 years in San Diego. And I mean, you've seen it all. You've seen a lot of good. You've seen a lot of bad. You've seen some ridiculousness. Some of the post-game comments, some of the poor play, some of the exits, his postseason numbers. So, like, I don't think anyone is confused and thinks Manny Machado is the best player in baseball. Like, I don't think even the most ardent Padres supporter is like, "You've got it all wrong. Manny, trust me, is Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani." Like, I don't think anyone believes that. I think people believe he's a flawed individual that is uber talented, but there are serious questions about whether he can lead a team where he needs to lead this team. Yeah. And that only is further entrenched with each passing year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The entirety of the team did not hit, but as you say all the time, heaviest head that wears the crown. Manny took the blame. He said it was his fault. Like, he's got to be better. And that's to Manny's credit. But like, you're hitting third in your lineup. You go 1 for 12 in the series or 1 for 11, whatever it was. You did have a big hit, and that home run got you to a game 3. Yeah. But you did not come up in the biggest moments, and nobody's going to be sitting here being like, "Oh, can't believe Jake Cronenworth had an awful series," which he did. But still, we're not leading shows with Jake Cronenworth and his for in the entire series. We're leading the show with Manny Machado and Fernando Tatis Jr. And if you don't like it, sorry, raise your standard. Don't be that raise your standard, guys. These players understand that they need to go out and perform. And if you're going to just say, "You know what, it's okay, I love Manny, it's fine, it wasn't his fault, I'm going to blame someone else," then you're looking in the wrong spot. Start with Manny. He even says as much. So if Manny's saying it, don't cover up for Manny's failures because he's your favorite baseball player.
What will the legacy of Manny Machado be if he never wins a World Series?
Just that.
Is that where it starts? Great player, but he never won a World Series and had plenty of chances because he's been in the postseason a lot, and he has not appeared in his final postseason series either. He has been in the postseason a lot with Baltimore, LA, and now San Diego. We can continue that conversation. We're here until 6 p.m. 877-767-4760 if you want to weigh in. 877-767-4760. We're keeping our eye on the baseball postseason as well. This is Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 and live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. We're going to give away tickets to see Yellow Card coming up in about 6 minutes. So be listening for that. Also, listen for your chance to win a 4-pack of tickets to Hallow Scream at SeaWorld San Diego. This year, new horrors awaken with 5 haunted houses, 8 terrifying scare zones, hidden speakeasies, and the shrills of coasters after dark. Every Friday, Saturday, and Sunday now through November 2nd. Halloween fun for the whole family for a limited time. Kids go free with a paid adult ticket. Visit SeaWorldSanDiego.com for more.
You know what I didn't realize?
That Chicago's a city in America. What?
So I'm trying to figure out when in the game this was. It is the Cubs Brewers game.
Okay.
Might have been the 6th inning.
Mm-hmm.
Brewers are making a comeback.
Right.
Let me just find it here. Hold on.
This
Yeah.
better be like the greatest thing you've ever said.
No, it's not really. But looks like there were runners on first and third in the game with less than 2 outs.
You could tell me Brandon Lockridge didn't come through or something?
And they bunted. And they didn't score. And they're down 4-3 at the time.
They were down 4-3 with nobody out?
With 1 out. Runners on first and
well,
third.
They didn't bunt. They didn't call for a bunt.
They bunted. I'm trying to.
No, I need to see it.
When was this?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
Makes sense.
Why? How does it make sense?
Because it happened. I just saw it.
But that doesn't mean they. No, I don't think it happened. Show it to me.
When was this?
Yeah, that circumstance doesn't make sense though. First and third, 1 out.
Hold on.
Down a run. Unless it's a safety. Unless it's a squeeze, they may have squeezed.
Yeah, that's what I
yeah. I have no problem with that.
Sure.
It's supposed to be a safety squeeze because that was when they
Yeah.
had the guy picked off in between.
Yeah,
home and
Padres
third.
weren't squeezing. They're just bunting. Squeezing is an effort to score.
Wasn't even close.
Bunting is an effort to.
Oh, there
move
we
guys
go.
over.
You can now
Cubs
breathe,
win?
Brent. Brent can breathe. Cubs win. Force a game 4 at Wrigley tomorrow night.
It's all because the Brewers bunted.
I just-
Every team in the postseason has bunted. I think the Cubs bunted last half inning, didn't they? You were like bunt.
I was
did.
I was emphasizing like, oh, they bunted.
Yeah. So like every team has.
But the Brewers are most like the Padres as far as the teams that are remaining.
in terms of they need to go station to station.
They don't hit a lot of home runs. They do score a lot of runs, but they don't hit a lot of home runs.
Yeah, squeeze. I'm not as like critical of squeeze plays. Your squeeze plays, you're basically putting pressure on. I mean, you're squeezing in the attempt to score. You know, it was trying to move a runner from first to second to me is way more egregious than trying to score a runner from third.
I agree.
You know,
yeah.
But all right, so we'll have a game 4 in Chicago.
Just wanted to emphasize it.
Bunt,
So, bunt
Brewers.
Bunt your way to the World Series. Good luck.
All right, so game 4 of that is tomorrow. What's the score in this Yankees Blue Jays game? Let's see.
I think it's 1-1.
1-1.
1-1. Got a Vladdy RBI single in the first, a Ryan McMahon homer in the bottom of the third, and we are in the top of the fourth, and it's 1-1. Yankees need to win, obviously, to force a game 5.
And it's not going to end 1-1.
Can't end 1-1, John, because there's no ties in baseball.
That's right. And then coming up at 6 p.m., Dodgers, Phillies, Dodger Stadium. Dodgers can win the series. Yamamoto, Nola.
If you're a Phillies fan and you see Aaron Nola on the mound with his 6.01 ERA, and you're facing Yamamoto, who, I mean, this guy's had a incredible year.
You know what you're thinking?
Season's over.
You're thinking the same thing you're thinking if you're a Padres fan. You're like, maybe Darvish can do it. Turn back the clock. That's exactly what you're thinking.
Like, listen to these numbers for Aaron Nola. This year, he has a 7.93 ERA in the first inning. Only 6 pitchers have been worse.
Jeez.
Yamamoto's allowed 0 earned runs over his last 24 innings, a 0.53 ERA over his last 5 starts, with a 0.099 opponent's batting average.
So you're saying this is lopsided? I mean,
this is so.
It's the same idea as like pitching Darvish in a game 3.
Like, what are you thinking?
Like, it's not going to work, probably.
Like, oh, we feel good about his postseason. No, he sucks this year. Darvish sucked this year, and his arm was falling off. Now we're going Darvish over King. Okay.
Yeah. Nola last year at a 3.5, and this year at a 6.01. He obviously wasn't healthy.
like, oh, we believe in his numbers from last year. It's not last year. It's this year.
And this is the classic example of like you get like 2 outs and then there's action in the bullpen, and
so there's like
he's
no
going to
point.
throw an inning.
There's no point. Might as well just
right?
go bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. Because what's the best case? He goes like 2 innings. He's going to have the quickest hook. I mean, yeah, it didn't work for the Padres. Is it going to work for the Phillies? I think there's no chance it works for the Phillies.
Play dumb games. What is it?
Win dumb prizes.
There you go.
Yeah, play dumb games, win dumb prizes. I completely agree.
It's like these teams and organizations try to, think these things and it's like, okay, this is going to happen. It's like, keep it simple, stupid. This guy sucks. Go bullpen day.
All these teams always, what you're always done in by is you run out of starting pitching.
Always.
Like one thing you keep talking about with the Dodgers. Now, last year they had the two starters, but this year they have like 4. Where the Phillies in a winner go home game are pitching a guy with a 6 ERA. Like you've run out of starting pitching. You have no better option than that. That's how your season's going to come to an end. We've said it a lot with the Padres over the years. It's just not good enough. Darvish in game 3, they were so lucky. How many runs did the Cubs score in game 3? Only 3, right?
3, yeah. It could have been
crazy.
Way worse because the Padres bullpen was
Kept
really
them in it.
freaking good. I mean,
Jeremiah Estrada.
if they won that game, he was getting the game ball, even though they don't give game balls in baseball.
Yeah, you're right.
He was getting the game ball. Like he was going to be one of those like unsung heroes if they were to have won that game.
I think Schilt gave it to him regardless, and they lost the game. I think he got the game ball. Cubs defense got the game ball from Schilt.
Yeah, Schilt gave the Cubs defense the MVP of that series.
We have some news on Inside the NBA that I don't even think Jim has heard.
I have heard it. Wait, what have I heard?
Exactly. So we'll share that with you on the other side. But call right now if you want 2 free tickets to see Yellow Card, October 23rd at Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Caller 3, you have 2 free tickets to see Yellow Card, October 23rd at Gallagher Square, Petco Park. Tickets and info at Ticketmaster.com. Call 877-767-4760 if you want those 2 free tickets. And call right now. Pick up the phone and call 877-767-4760 if you want those 2 free tickets. Here until 6, Jon and Jim.
All right, this update's brought to you by Dell Technologies. Cubs Brewers have just gone final. Brewers lose to the Cubs 4-3. That means there will be a game 4 tomorrow in Chicago. Earlier this afternoon, Tigers Mariners game 4 there. Tigers beat the Mariners 9-3 to even that series. We're going to go to a game 5 on Friday in Seattle. Right now, Blue Jays, Yankees, top of the 5th inning. Blue Jays have just taken a 2-1 lead. Blue Jays are looking to close out the Yankees and move on to the ALCS. And then about 30 minutes from now at Dodger Stadium, first pitch for game 3, Dodgers-Phillies. Dodgers have a 2-0 series lead there. Your new Dell PC with Intel Core Ultra helps you handle a lot when your holiday to-dos get to be a lot. Like organizing holiday shopping, responding to requests, and customers requesting custom things. Luckily, the Dell PC helps you get it all done. That's the power of a Dell PC with Intel Insight. Get yours at Dell.com/deals.
All right, I am eagerly awaiting Jim's back page, and I think we all know why.
Because the show's over. Man,
all right.
First week of the off season,
man,
it might be a long one. Everybody, it might be a long off
I always
season.
say that the difference between the early exit and the late exit, feels significant.
Oh man, because
right?
At least if they made the division round, and
get another week out of it,
right? Basically, if say they lose the division round to the Brewers, right?
Yeah, losing 5
or 4.
4. You're still playing
3-1. That means that all next week would be dedicated to like what happened in the series and how they lost. Right. The following week would be like Preller speaks and like what to do in the offseason.
Now it's Thanksgiving.
Yeah. After that, we do have a little bit of a lull because but still, you got World Series to talk about, NFL.
Yeah. NBA.
But once you get to December, it's like, okay, we're going to the GM meetings.
Winter meetings.
And then free agency begins at the end of the month. And then we get the winter meetings in December. And then we have all December to talk about it. And then we get Christmas and blah, blah, blah. And January hits and it's like, all right, we're gearing up. And then February, pitchers and catchers.
Yep.
But when you go out as early as the Padres did in the postseason.
It's only 3 days in.
They played 2 games in October.
Yeah, better than 1. Could have been 1, but they did play 2.
Yankees.
Oh my gosh. So the Blue Jays are leading right now at Yankee Stadium in the 5th. Now it's only a 2-1 lead, but they are leading right now in the 5th inning.
Mm-hmm.
They have taken a lead off Schlittler.
Dude, what kind of name is that, man?
What kind of name is that? So again, the Blue Jays trying to move on to the ALCS, hereby winning game 4. All right, did you see this? What did you see on Inside the NBA?
I don't know. What is it?
So you didn't see anything. Okay. So ESPN's debut of Inside the NBA is listed on like the TV Guide schedule.
Dude, I talked about this like 2 months ago, Christmas.
What is it listed as?
Like the name of the show?
This is what you talked about 2 months ago?
I talked about that we're not going to see the first Inside the NBA, like, I guess, Shaq, Kenny, Charles.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
What are you saying?
Exactly.
Huh?
If you let me speak, I'll tell you. What I'm saying is they've listed the first Inside the NBA show following an ESPN doubleheader on opening night for 1 hour, which is actually longer than or the same length as Inside the NBA on TNT, TBS, whatever. So that's not to say that'll be every single show, but initially it was a half-hour window. Now ESPN has slated a 1 hour window for the first edition of Inside the NBA on ESPN. Does that make you feel better inside?
I mean, I don't know. I have to see it first. I need to see what it looks like.
You think it's going to look different?
Yeah. I'm a little scared.
With like inside you think like Stephen A gets on that first episode?
They're going to infuse ESPN talent on that show. I just know it.
Mm-hmm.
They ESPN can't help themselves.
They can't
just leave something alone.
Right.
And just let it cook. And commercials be damn, segment times be damn. If they were smart, they would just let it do the exact same thing as what they did on
wipe your
TV.
hands of it. Just let it be.
Put it on our network. we'll worry about the repercussions later of like segment time and commercials and like we'll just deal with it because we know that if we F with this product, it's going to be the worst thing for us in that brand because we're effectively the ones that would have killed inside the NBA. And I know ESPN is the juggernaut that it is, and it's going to continue to keep going regardless. But still, I mean, ESPN, dude, I freaking hate ESPN now. There's no show on ESPN that I'm like, I gotta watch it. Nothing. I the only reason why I watch ESPN is for live play-by-play. That's it.
You like Scott Van Pelt?
I like Scott Van Pelt. I will say yes, but that's not really like a show that I have to go watch. I'll have Scott Van Pelt on after a big game,
like Monday Night Football.
Yeah, I mean, I will. Yeah, Scott Van Pelt's the only thing that I go to ESPN for. Every talking head show in the morning is awful.
And also, I'll be honest with you. Yes, I'm with you on the live play-by-play. We'll be there for I'm there. College football, NBA, whatever. But I don't like the way they package the product. That the second, here's an example. The second, like a South Carolina Clemson game starts, they're like, tonight, a big one between Alabama and Georgia. Like, just let people watch the game that is on. You don't have to always forward promote everything. Like, just allow the game to speak for itself is what I would say about ESPN. I think they've really gotten carried away with that kind of stuff. I'm with you on ESPN. Growing up, it was a staple of everything. It feels like it's gotten away from itself. Yes, they have a ton of play-by-play. You can't avoid ESPN if you're a diehard sports fan.
Right.
But you can avoid its programming.
Like I'm just imagining what type of S show it's going to be in a couple years when they have the Super Bowl and the 50 hours of programming and the 7-person panels and just all the like just Stephen A. Smith and Pat McAfee's and the Greenie. It's just like, oh my gosh, it's going to be nauseating. Like I already don't watch pre-games for like this like playoffs or Super Bowl because it doesn't serve any purpose. Like it's just they're just talking about the game. Like whatever, I don't care. Just give me the game. But I know that for the Super Bowl, it's going to be over the top.
Oh, you think?
You think? Yeah,
I think it will be too. Brent, what do you got?
I was going to say, I almost wonder if they're feeling outside pressure from NBC that with NBC getting the NBA back, that they might be second fiddle. And that's why they're like, no, we're going to add extra time onto our post-game show because they don't know what NBC is going to be like. And, you know, granted, like Jim said, once ESPNs it up and throws Stephen A. and McAfee and them on there when they don't need to be, I think people are going to go flock to NBC because it's going to be a McAfee free zone.
Yeah, but you do have to remember this. ESPN's pre, half, and post coverage has been so awful.
It's the worst.
That's true.
That even if they screw this up, which most people agree they will, it will be vastly improved from what they were providing previously. So like they're fine because they're if improving what they were previously doing.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's gone from the worst to better than that.
I just, if they were smart, which I mean, ESPN is smart, but they're also stubborn in their ways and they're thick-skulled. But like, if they were smart, you blow out your pre and post for the NBA, like, or at least you take them and you make them the number 2 crew. And for your primetime games, whenever those primetime games are on ESPN, either Wednesdays or Saturdays, maybe both.
Yeah,
whatever they are, right? That's when you deploy the Inside the NBA crew and you do the pre and the halftime and the post exactly like they did on TNT. And then for every other ESPN NBA matchup, you can deploy your
Malik Andrews and
your
Bob
Myers and Kendrick
Warriors
Perkins
guy.
and
But that's
Stephen A.
The thing is, and because you remember, because you read up on it on the schedule, the Inside the NBA schedule was pretty limited.
They don't start really until Christmas.
Exactly.
They
So
do
like they'll do the
night.
opening night, and then it goes. That's a long time between opening night and Christmas.
It's like 2.5 months.
It's 2 months.
November
From October to Christmas. But you're right. There's not going to be a lot of it, is the point. I think people are expecting to see it each and every night.
They're not.
They're not going to see it each and every night.
Especially for the primetime games early on.
Yep.
You're not going to see it.
Are you curious how it looks on Amazon NBC.
Well, they've already had a couple games on Peacock.
Yeah, I haven't watched. Have you?
I've not watched because I've seen like what care about the matchups, but I've seen like the production of it, the score bug. They have the AI generated voice of what's his name?
I don't even know, but I remember the story.
They haven't deployed the
they haven't done that yet? Round Ball Rock?
They have not. Now I'm hoping because they haven't deployed it yet that they're waiting for the opening night.
I would think so.
Because that's their like, we're back, right?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, interesting. I hope because this would be smart of them. Because like visuals matter when you're watching on television, obviously, duh. They need to bring back the old NBC score bug and graphics and just kind of HD them up and bring them back to.
I don't remember what it looks like. Like the 90s?
No. From the early 2000s and the late 90s and the mid 90s. They're all, once you see it, you'll know.
I got you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I'm just curious. Anytime rights holders change hands, I find that interesting. Like the NBA was on TNT for all these years. Now it's on Amazon or NBC after 25 years. I find that interesting.
It's just a lot of places. And if you are like the type of person that needs to have everything on one channel, like you're not going to get it.
I mean, they have national games now, like 6 nights a week, though, between Amazon, NBC, Peacock, ESPN. Yeah. 6 nights a week, you're going to have a national game.
It's just crazy because every sport now is on so many different networks.
Yeah. You're right.
It's like, whoa.
Yeah. Including the NBA starting in about 2 weeks. All right. Updates on baseball playoffs with the Blue Jays and the Yankees. Dodgers about to get underway as well. Jim's back page on the other side. We've already given away the yellow card tickets, right? We gave away the yellow card tickets. Jim's back page coming up next. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760 live on the iHeartRadio app. All right, a final time. Jon and Jim, San Diego Sports 760. Sean Lewis shows tomorrow night, 6 p.m. We'll get you ready for the Aztecs and Nevada. By the way, I just saw a report from, I follow FBS schedules on Twitter.
Of course you do.
Right? So if you go to FBS schedules at this hour, their last tweet, you may have seen this, Jim, is Hawaii and San Diego State schedule a football series for 2028 and 2029.
Do you want to extend the Jon and Jim show to at least 8 p.m. tonight? We can go multiple hours.
If we're going no commercials, 8. If we have commercials, I would say 9, because I'm going to need more time to discuss this series. By the way, this series 2028, 2029, reportedly 2028 Snapdragon, 2029 in Hawaii, and they're playing in Hawaii this year. The 2029 game would be in the new Aloha Stadium. Remember, it was condemned where they used to have the Pro Bowl? So they've been playing on campus. The new stadium is supposed to open in 2029. This would be like maybe the first game or two of the new stadium in Hawaii.
Can't wait
so
for the 2029
we'll have
season.
Pregame coverage for that one coming up in 2029.
Let's start our pregame coverage at 6 p.m. tonight.
I'm down.
Pregame coverage.
The Aztecs haven't even left the Mountain West yet, and they already miss Hawaii so much that they're like,
I
need
like
you guys
playing
to stay.
Hawaii non-conference because
you like going to Hawaii.
Well, that's true. And it's a good area to recruit if you're San Diego State. It's a nonstop flight.
I love me some Hawaii.
Yeah, who doesn't love Hawaii?
Never been.
You got to get there. Go to this 2029 game.
Yeah.
Bro. If you're not going to go this year, go to the 2029 game.
I want to go back to Hawaii.
Do it. Be a man.
Okay.
Go to the Hawaii San Diego State game in 3 weeks that I'm going to.
That must be nice.
Get on the charter. Talk to Sean.
When is that game?
November 7th, 8th, 9th.
Oh, wow.
Talk to Sean Lewis.
Look at you.
We could probably get you on that thing.
Yeah, probably not.
Now we go the day before the game and come back after the game. So you'd be in Hawaii for 24 hours.
No, you're going extra, right?
No.
Oh, you're just doing in and out?
In and out. In and out.
Is Rich doing extra? He usually
I think Rich is doing extra.
Yeah. Is he allowed?
But with basketball schedule and I think he is.
I'm pretty sure the wife will clear that one.
Yeah,
oh, we can stay in Hawaii for a couple extra days. Sure, I guess.
Get on that plane, Jim.
I'll sneak on the plane.
I could probably get you.
I'm in Hawaii.
You can be John's carry-on.
You'd be miserable because you leave after the game.
That'd suck.
You land in San Diego like the sun is up the next day.
I know because the time change. So it's like you're not going to Hawaii to experience Hawaii. You're just going there just
for the game.
But
you do have Friday. Like for me, I'm not playing. So like Friday, I'm like going out. I'll go on like a hike or go out to like a cool restaurant. I'm going on the water.
Hike.
I'm gonna go find an ant farm. I'm gonna get my hands dirty.
What would you do? Find some
card show or something?
Probably.
Honolulu card store.
Well,
I'll do some things.
I'd recommend.
No, I'm not doing a helicopter flight or whatever.
Not a helicopter flight.
Yeah, just don't throw up on it and you'll have Jim beat.
What would you recommend?
Or don't get stung by a wasp.
I love how you've got recommendations for me. Let me hear your recommendations.
Do you like poke?
Yeah, I do.
What's your favorite food?
In life?
Besides tofu.
I like sushi.
Yeah.
Even though I'm vegetarian.
Yeah, I know. Go find a good sushi place.
I think I will do that.
Yeah.
In a couple of weeks.
They have good sushi in Hawaii. Did you know that?
I think they do. I think they do. All right, let's get to it.
Would you ever climb Mount Everest?
So hard, dude.
This makes me want to not climb it even more.
Okay.
Earlier this week, about 900 hikers, guides, and other staff were stranded on Mount Everest because of a snowstorm. A severe storm struck the area Saturday night, cutting off access to where hikers were staying in tents at an altitude of more than 4,900 meters, which is 16,000 feet.
Wow.
In all, 580 hikers and more than 300 guides were stranded.
I have an idea.
Don't hike Mount Everest.
You want to fix the Padres power issues? Play on Everest. 16,000 feet, that ball is flying.
Yeah.
That's not even the worst reason not to climb Everest.
What's the worst
reason?
That there's like dead bodies scattered all up
Yeah,
the
from
mountain when
people
you
that-
walk up there
Yeah,
from
that is
people that
insane.
failed.
I would
And like literally, you'll just
Yeah.
be walking up the trail and there'll
That
be
guy died in
frozen Peter over there in the
23.
corner.
anyway. So these hikers were stranded, guides were stranded, and they were recently rescued from Mount Everest after the severe snowstorms.
So everyone's good?
As of right now, yes, but they were there for a hot minute.
I would have been in trouble.
You can't even deal with ants, dude.
I would not have done
I'll stick
well.
with Mount Helix. That sounds safer.
Yeah, how high is that?
Even that, I'm like, nah. But here's the thing: is like the elevation and the altitude of
Oh,
Mount Everest.
Gosh.
Like your body, you have to go through months and
weeks
months of training
to get ready.
just
for
to
it.
get ready to climb and deal with the altitude.
I don't
there.
have time for it.
Ridiculous, and no chance.
Drink
in
your
hell.
beet juice like
Yeah.
the Aztecs.
Yeah, not doing it. Just no.
We're playing at Everest, the new Mountain West team.
Gonna drink some beet juice.
Realignment.
Yeah.
Man, Everest
Hey.
is a tough road trip.
Hey, we're playing.
Man, that's tough.
You got a problem. It's
Yeah, that's
All the
tough.
travel's just straight up.
Yeah, exactly.
Trying to stall right now because here we go. I'm trying to find my story. Taco Bell, John, is bringing back their iconic Choco Tacos.
Finally.
Their new Choco Tacos are filled with cinnamon ancho chili ice cream wrapped in hand-pressed waffle cone shell, dipped in rich dark chocolate, and topped with toasted brown rice for the ultimate crunch.
Sounds really good.
To make it even more over the top, each Choco Taco comes with custom Taco Bell style sauce packets, including mango jalapeno, wild berry cinnamon, and a creamy cheesecake dip. Right now, when it goes available nationwide, you can get one for $6.95. It's a limited edition launch for the Choco Taco.
$6.95, is that a reasonable
For
price
one
point?
Choco Taco,
Seems a little high.
pretty pricey.
Yeah, I was thinking more $4.95.
That's how big it is, I guess.
Yeah. $6.95.
Well, from the picture here, it doesn't look that big. Looks good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I mean, I dropped $7 on a Choco Taco, but like one time.
Right.
I'm not going back there like multiple times for it.
It's available now in these nationwide?
It is, yeah.
Okay.
So, now you've bought your son SpongeBob cards, correct?
I have. 25th anniversary Topps Chrome.
Yeah. Have you found anything?
We got it to 99, some card that SpongeBob says something like, "Hey, you're stupid," or something like it.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. I mean, we got Patrick, we got Squidward. I didn't get like a 1 of 1.
You didn't get any like autos or anything?
No, voice actor autos look cool.
Yeah. Well, the SpongeBob triple auto card
No.
sold for $21,500.
Who are the autos?
Signed by 3 of the show's voice actors. The 1 of 1 Super Fractor is from the Red Hot 2025 Topps Chrome set. It's the highest price paid for any SpongeBob card at a public auction. The card was autographed by the SpongeBob, Patrick, and Squidward actors.
Wow.
Voice actors. That thing, 25 grand, bro, or 21 grand.
That's a lot of
money. Bro,
Their cards are really cool.
they look cool.
They're cool.
The one card, the Squidward card of like him, like the Dark Knight Squidward,
Ooh,
is like the chase or one of the chase cards.
Yeah.
That's not an auto.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think anyone's found it yet.
Oh, really?
Maybe,
I have
don't
I have
know.
a box at home. We opened up a box, but we have one more. I'm gonna bring it with me.
So that's why Jones is Patrick for Halloween, because you got him Patrick and SpongeBob.
Yeah, but he was
cards.
already into it. That's why I got him the cards. He's been into it.
Cool.
I might be Patrick. I might be Squidward for Halloween.
You guys need to be the whole crew.
Why don't we dress up as SpongeBob?
And bring Jones.
All right, back tomorrow too. For Brent and Jim, I'm John. Keep it here at
Okay,
San Diego
bye.
Sports 760. Okay, bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.